you got to have a certain skill set and conditioning before you get to them. Before you hop up on these panels, you got to know already. You got to be you already. Because if you don't and you listen to these people, they're going to influence you with fake stuff. They're going to influence you with consumerism. And like the sister said, they be performing these conversations. They're not really having genuine conversation. They really trying to hop up here and have that Kevin Samuels moment or that Cynthia G moment and don't even know these goddamn people. But they seen the likes and they want to get the likes that they seen somebody else get. So it's a bunch of I don't mean to be ghetto, but it'd be a bunch of guys that's lame, never got no attention, and they just like we seen in the conscious community. A lot of them niggas never got talked to before, but then they started dropping the black woman is God crap, and then they got niggas in their face and all that BS. So it's happening here, and it's gonna happen amongst the cool niggas. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But you have to, as an adult, cipher through the BS. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, man, it's a fact. Brother Lucifer, he said, what is it called when, that's a crazy name. What is it called when a chameleon can't change color? A reptile dysfunction. All right. But, man, so that, as y'all can see, y'all see where the conversation is going. But, it takes a little dark turn, you know what I'm saying? Because we see what Pearl's talking about. It's bullshit. We're not about to sit here and just talk about her all day because it's not about them. It's about us. So, as y'all can see, y'all seen me talk. Let's just play a little bit more.
This was in the 50s, not that long ago. So let's not act like
fast forward a little bit.
Of course you are, but why wouldn't you be proud of it?
As an adult, you are responsible for your own behavior. So if you do something rude, or if you commit a crime, you are responsible. Nobody else is responsible for it.
Absolutely. But that's not a black crime. It's not a black
White
issue.
people commit more crime in this country than black people. So let's if we're gonna speak facts, let's really stop talk statistics and stop just blowing, just saying out anything. Because like Illa said, you're just
what did she say? Hold on. Oh no, I'm hearing. You know, I ain't got the best ears either.
Yeah, and it just.
Of course you are, but why wouldn't you be proud of it?
As an adult, you are responsible for your own behavior. So if you do something rude, or if you commit a crime, you are responsible. Nobody else is responsible for it.
Absolutely. But that's not a black crime. It's not a black issue.
White people commit more crime in this country than black people. So let's if we're gonna speak facts, let's really stop talk statistics and stop just blowing, just saying out anything. Because like Illa said, you're just
black men are
20 you're not really.
Like Illa said, you're just talking. So that implies that Illa's not just talking because he's providing information as opposed to what you're doing. Can we come to that conclusion to my esteemed panelists that I can say that? Am I reaching by saying that?
No, you're not reaching.
Okay. So this is an example, ladies and gentlemen, of someone performing the conversation, and it's a lot of that in these spaces. Reaper Rell said, she's an imbecile that needs black people. That's why she dated them. You talking about Pearl? Yeah, she hired them. She had sex with them, and is always around them. Always talks about them. Absolutely, shout out to Reaper Rell. Yes, but this woman totally derails the damn show. So we're gonna fast forward to once Pearl leaves, because we know what she's talking about. We're gonna go to when she leaves, because it was such a great night. We all made all these great points. We all collaborated and contributed, yada, yada, yada. And then, as you can see, Saint and the Sinner comes up, and the conversation changed. So let's
attack us behaviorally, character.
Let's go with the conversation.
What up?
Peace of the Saints. Thank you for. I don't know who added me on, but whoever it was, I appreciate you sharing your platform with me.
Look, man, hey, what up? She's engaged.
I'm chilling. How you feel?
What's up, bro?
She look all right to me.
Good to see you.
So Marquette was live reacting to it. I didn't really get to listen to it so much, but I was live.
The reason why I'm focusing on her individually, and I will focus on others, is because you got a lot of weird people in these spaces that be trying to make content and react to me, and they paint these narratives. See, the thing about this space is I'm gonna attack you, your mentality. I'm gonna attack your concepts. I'll try not to attack you personally, but these people will get up here and attack you personally based on them not agreeing with your content and try to paint a narrative of what type of person you are, as if you're abusive, as if you're mean and you hate black women and all that. And it be based on these clips that they're not analyzing correctly. So I've seen a lot of people, I ain't gonna say they weird ass name, but they did a reaction to this video and they was trying to make it seem like this is an example of me berating a black woman. So you seen the footage. You seen how she agreed with me when I started speaking. She was smiling and all of that. So I just want y'all to see how it ends up going before the night is out.
This the same live?
What you say?
This the same live?
Yeah, this live.
Well, that's why I was a little bit late to the panel. I was live streaming. And I shared it on my live. And then a lot of people, if you've seen like the numbers went up on the Lapeef Network live, because I told everybody from my live to come on over. Then they told me that Marquette was live watching. So I'm like, Quette, come on in. So that's why we're here now. But yeah, man, what's the topic? Where's the moderator for this one?
Can I just ask you all a question?
For sure.
Go ahead.
It's just because I
moderators, these goofies, man.
Now we have to cook that. So my thing is this: I'm tired of people telling black people when to start taking history in account. It's like they have a start date. Like we only going to deal with you post 75, and we're just going to focus on how do you critique of people after every complete atrocity has happened to them and try to evaluate that in a 30, 40-year span when they're recovering from something that took eons. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And the fact that they're trying to attack us behaviorally, character-wise, while discarding eons of cannibalism, child pee, beastie, like, why can't we take into account anything when we're talking to these people when everything that we're doing is just a byproduct of what happened to it? Not saying everything you do is because what happened to slavery, but this is post-grand, life-altering atrocities. They're going to be at best, we're going to be altered. So how can you just evaluate us off of that while discarding your entire existence of violence, pillaging, the worst of things? Just so, like I can't even have a real conversation with people like that. They're not being
so Illa, I don't agree with it, but I'm just going to tell you what the reasoning behind that is. It's on topic. It's almost like how when we're talking about if we're having a relationship combo and we tell the women and then we start doing the whatabouts, it's irrelevant. So we can't really do the whatabouts all the time. So that was the nature of it in this particular case. That's why when I came in, I chose not to mention anything about whatever it is that I feel like they do. Right? I just went.
Oh, we got a comment I want to respond to. I'm sure he did it in his voice. Let me see. Let's see.
Yeah, these are stupid comments. They don't even.
Blacks stole blacks to the Jews. Slavery in a nutshell. Oh, gee whiz. Well, this is the thing, fella. They did. But this is the common thing with with our people. Why, whatever we do, y'all always involved, though? Let's just say you're right. Let's just say blacks did sell blacks, but who do they sell them to? You. So whatever we're doing, you're always benefiting from it. We don't benefit from the destruction of white children's minds. We don't have systems benefiting from the destruction of white people's relationships. We don't have any systems in place that promote us or we profit from interference in your social engagement in the world. So what you guys don't understand, because you always defending things as if we're talking about everybody, you only get blamed for stuff that you find an issue with. I don't think every white person did this. I'm talking about the systems in place, the banking system, the governmental structures, big corporations, big pharma. Those are mostly owned by European people who probably don't care about me or you, sir.
Well, first off, blacks selling blacks to the Jews. Jews were black.
That's
what I was saying.
Let's start there. Tag Maestro 02. Jews were black. Let's start there.
Exactly.
So if you're going to sit there and speak, let's go all the way to the history prior to whatever it is that you're speaking to, because you're speaking from one standpoint. That's kind of what Illa was making his point of, is when do we recognize, or what do we recognize as history, and when
color doesn't mean exactly. Hold on, Sean. Color doesn't mean shit, but we're not colored. See, that's the problem. This is not about color. We're not saying because your skin looks a certain way, you act a certain way. We're talking about ethnicity and historical behavior and patterns that just happen to be people. We can call them European. We don't got to use colors at all. It's not about people of color versus people that are white. It's about Europeans. It's about Caucasians. It's about, they just happen to be the people that make decisions. That don't mean everybody that's Caucasian or European thinks this way.
Can I just annihilate this little world?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I know you're literate, sir. You don't know that black is a German word that means pale. You would be pressed to study history and know that Slav comes from slave, which is Slavonian, Scandinavian, which is what you
absolutely
are. And you had to be a word called Yaoi. You had to be a more to be that. But the ones that you're talking about are called Khazarians. So you're a Slav and they're Khazarian. So when you say black sold blacks to Jews, there was your people selling your people to Khazarians. And you would go on, you'd be hard pressed to understand that the transatlantic slave trade was us selling you. And the Emancipation Proclamation was you freeing yourself. Candace Owens actually in the Prager University, she actually broke that down. So I'm Noble, Miguel Mario Tunica Bay, Moorish American Muslim, consecrated and appointed missionary to Moorish Science Temple of America. If you or any one of your scholars would like to debate me, I would have a great time.
Yeah, you could come if you got the heart to cam up, tag, whatever your name is. You can come up, and you too, Earth Surfer, because we can all chat behind it. You won't be cursed out. You won't be called out your name. None of that. If you want to share your sentiments, let me know. You just got to cam up, because I want to see your face. And if you can stand on it, you can join the conversation easily, because it's not about black and white. Because the thing about it is, what white people don't understand, and there's a way to engage us in this conversation if you want to have it honestly. But that's not what happens. If you come into the conversation like, listen, I understand you guys have been through a lot. I understand there's a lot of policy that's been done to this country by people of different races.
He on a virtual. He on a virtual. You can't send it do that one. You got to come to the other stream.
You're going to have to come to the YouTube, bro, and I'm going to drop the link, but you're going to have to cam up. If you won't cam up, I'm going to drop you. I want to see your face, and I want you to see what's going on. But it's not about, you can't talk about it. It's how you guys talk about it. You totally discount the factors that created this schism, because we can prove to you that we had a certain way of living and we had a certain way of dealing with not only each other, but you guys before the interference. So if you can't admit that, not you personally, like me, I'm not a gang member. I'm not a murderer. I'm not a pimp or a hustler or a thug, but can I admit that they exist in my community? Absolutely. Can I admit that they can give a misinterpretation of how we look to the world? Absolutely. But can you admit that your people, through the arts, through malnutrition, through a lot of things, it can go all day, can you admit that you have a hand to play in the American experience of black people that might cause an ism and schism? If you can't do that, then
listen, he can't even act like he already knows you can't have a link in a vertical. He can't. That's why I've been past these, talking to these creatures, them and the Khazarians and the Slavs, like they're human. They don't want to do stuff like that. They just want to see, like Pearl, see if they can get a reaction out of you, because their self-worth, identity is dependent on getting a reaction out of us. They can't be them without us not being us. That's the only way they live. He knows you can't do that. He already knows that. You know what I'm saying? So he's just saying stupid stuff just to antagonize, just to get attention.
No, we're gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna send him the link. I'm gonna give him a chance, man. I'm gonna give him a chance. I just hope you know what you're talking about. That's all we ask, bro.
Yeah,
just know what you're talking about.
Is he asked a few times where the black Jews. if you go to Ethiopia, you'll find a lot of Black Jews. You go to the continent of Africa, as well as in Europe, you'll find a lot of Black Jews. Even in Israel, you'll find a lot of Black Jews. Here in America, you'll find some Black Jews. So I don't understand why he's so hard to find these people that he continues to.
It's not a real question.
Because of history. History to what they say, whoever makes the gold makes the rules. They have colonized and monopolized thought for the whole planet. So it's assumed that people are this, that, and the third because most people don't read and have any scholarship. But we have the scholarship. But he got the link. You know what I'm saying? He want to pull up. He's more than welcome to do that. But we're going to get back into the show because I want to explain two aspects. I want to show you. I feel like this show with Pearl showed you it shows you the antagonist, and it shows you the problem outside of our community, which is Pearl's perspective. Notice I said Pearl's perspective. I didn't say white people, but Pearl's perspective and people that think like her, whether they black or white. And we're going to community, which is people that are going to behave the way this woman is going to behave in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the conversation between me and Saint and Sinner where we were discussing possible solutions for the community. So let's get to it.
By the facts to show how you're wrong as hell and you're giving out horrible data, incorrect data, and misleading.
The only reason I said that is because they're evaluating us on a behavior level, as if our behavior is strictly dedicated on, as if their response to us is strictly predicated on our behavior, when history shows us, like I said before, at our best behavior, we were treated the worst. So that logic doesn't compute to me.
But they're fully aware of that. They're fully aware of that. That's not something that we have to educate on. That's why sometimes I don't try to reason, because they're fully aware that there is something systemic going on. They're fully aware that it doesn't matter.
That's where the fatigue comes in, because you know that they know. You know they know.
It's one of those things where that's why I try to exercise stoicism, because what's the point of letting you get me riled up when I know that I know that you know that there is a systemic backing for this, because you can understand it in every other realm but this one, and you're purposely being obtuse. That's why it's kind of
Also, all right, so real quick.
So let me ask this guy something in the chat. Let me ask you something. Tag Mr. Whatever your fucking name is. What is your explanation? And I'm gonna play it. I don't even not gonna pause it. What is your explanation for the black people of this country who behaved in the most benevolent way, but were murdered? Like, how do you explain that? And I want to ask you also, the so-called Jews, would you speak about them in this way? Would you discount what they went through? Would you just say that they're just complaining when they speak of, what happened to them in Germany? DEI is the thing. The fact, I'm just gonna kick him. He don't want nothing. Why the hell you think the fact that DEI was even implemented? Why was DEI even implemented? Because y'all wouldn't hire people that looked like had to make you do it. Y'all don't even understand the logic behind these policies. They gotta make y'all do shit because a lot of y'all nature is not as benevolent. Some of y'all is, but some of y'all are not. So you have to be forced to hire people because you wouldn't do it. So DI doesn't prove nothing but how biased you guys are. That law has to be put in to just make you act like a regular person. But we already read from literature earlier about the nature of our people when they got here. They said we was the most humble people in the world based on the accounts of Spanish explorers when they got here. So we're not talking from opinions. We're actually talking from literature. And we're mostly talking about a behavior more so than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Because she said we exploit your nature as if our nature is negative and your nature is bad. But history begs to differ.
We got to get Saint in there and then Sweeney you up right after.
And I think Cooley touched on it when he said it's that guilt. They feel guilt.
No, they don't.
Guilt that they
So go ahead, Saint.
That's not what I said, though. Yeah, that's not what I said.
Hold on, y'all. Just a sec. Saint got the floor, then we're gonna go to Sweeney, and then Cooley. I guess if you want to go after that.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate that.
So
Thank you very much for yielding the floor. I do want to state before I left my stream, I especially came here because I wanted to catch Pearl. And before I left the stream, I said, hey, my team had reached out to her and she agreed 2 times and backed out. I said, if I showed up on that panel, she's going to run. I said that before I came over. As soon as she saw my face, she's like, actually, you know, the tea is boiling. And Shorty got up out of here so quick. But with regards to the specific question, I just want that to be stated for the record, because all of these white supremacists, they swear up and down they are the greatest intellect we've ever seen. And then instead of using meaningful statistics, data, and studies, they keep on telling you what their experience was. Well, my experience with black people, I thought that was insane, because I'm like, I grew up in a ghetto, all my family's black, and I barely see any black people. How do you see that many black people? I got to organize an event to be around black folks. So they're using anecdotal lies, but to the point of the guilt, white folks don't feel any guilt. And one thing that we have to start doing is what you guys didn't pull out. And I was listening, mind you, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it so much that I decided to react to it as much as I can. So my commendations to all of you. But when she's talking about black fatigue, she's a...
You muted if you muted me, Ella. There you go.
I want to get into it. I want to slide into another conversation about us now. Now, he was very classy just now. He gave everybody credit because we're building right now. I'm building to a point. I want y'all to see the temperament of the men on the panel, how I was speaking, how Marquette was speaking. Now, does anyone feel like there was any animus? Was there any negativity? Was there any arrogance or dismissal or dismissive energy from any of the men that spoke so far? Did he seem like he was being arrogant, or was it seem like a more welcoming, appreciative type of energy, according to you guys?
No, it wasn't nothing at that point.
There was nothing arrogant about
up to
what
this
he was
point.
saying.
Okay. You, Ms. Pearl, as a female on the panel, was there any toxic masculinity in that statement?
It wasn't.
Oh, okay. Just checking. We got to make sure the ladies, because I know if we do it, she's definitely gonna call us out. So let's get back to it.
Essentially suggesting that there's something wrong in the black genetics. Our DNA provides a propensity to violence. We're fundamentally bad people. And when you say there's something wrong with the DNA, you can't train people out of that. You can't educate them out of that. And she was even sly enough to say, not you, Cooley, you're cool. Which I was like, what is this, a TV show? Like, this is crazy. So the fact of the matter is that when they have identified your genetics as problematic, now they're providing the explanation as to why you can be eradicated, because they're doing it for the good and the peace of the society. Because you're the devil, you're the problem, so they're just going to get you out the way, because we tried to reform them. We gave these black folks 300 years in America, and they still ain't acting right. The problem with these people is this. They'll point out the violence in our genetics, and they'll use their crime data, but they never acknowledge their crimes because their crimes are not recorded as such. One of the things I wanted to ask her is, how many people have black folks killed in 2025? She wouldn't know the answer, but I'd give her time. She'd go check the answer. Then I say, okay, how many folks have white people killed in 2025? And then she'd go check the crime statistics, and then she'd come back with some very low number. And I say, okay, well, don't forget the 250,000 people with the Russia-Ukraine situation. Don't forget the 100,000 people with the Israel-Palestine situation.
Mm-hmm.
On. It's like when they commit murder, it's not a crime. For example, Donald Trump killing the people who are...
Marquette, you muting yourself.
You went in and out, bro.
Damn. Yeah. Your shit cutting a bit. It's cutting a bit.
Your microphone is muted.
It's cutting out. All right, so
that was just
we're
good
good
right there.
You're back. Yeah.
Just repeat the last 20 seconds. That's all we need.
Okay, all I was saying is that their murder is not categorized as crime, whether you're talking about the Ukraine-Russia war, which is a war between whites, you're talking about Israel, Palestine, and America, a war started by whites, or you talk about something closer to home when you see those folks in those boats leaving out from Venezuela, allegedly, who are supposedly narcotraficantes and they're drug mules. Why didn't they get a trial? But why didn't Muammar Gaddafi get a trial? Why didn't Osama bin Laden get a trial? So they're
Saint, real quick, Saint. Your joints cutting out right now. But listen,
that's crazy.
We're gonna try to be sensitive. It came back. I can hear you now, but we got to be sensitive of those words. You're not cursing or anything, but you know those words that'll get you banned.
Okay,
So,
got you. My apologies.
Small
I yield the
hats.
floor.
Yeah.
Right. All right, bet. Sweetie, you up?
Shout out to Bo. Because me and her was talking, and those are the questions I had.
I literally was about to say that. I was about to be like, shout out to Bo.
But so some things that she said that, especially regarding scholarships, right? Over 75% of scholarships go to white people, despite them only being 6% of the population. With all the affirmative action and DEI and everything else you want to talk about, black people still only get about 11% of scholarships, which is the percentage of our population, so to speak. So even with all this help you claiming that we get, it only amounts to our population. But yet you are getting disproportionately the amount of scholarships, and you're saying that you're being systematically discriminated against? Make that shit make sense. Also, again, shout out to Bo. I wanted to address this. And I said this in the back chat. Well, I said me and Bo was talking about it. This is how it came up, because I was like, I find it interesting that she only has black fatigue after she got demonetized, after she pissed off black people. When she invited the white racists on the show, and then she got demonetized, and then the black people on her show stopped fucking with her. Now all of a sudden you got black fatigue.
Yeah, this one he was making sense.
It seems opportunistic and retaliatory. That's what I said. It seemed like you rode the opportunity to shit on black people because you invited this white racist on your show, and black people stopped fucking with you, and you decided, there's a bag in this. Hey, look, I understand. Hey, JR, shout out to you. I understand. You know, the numbers. It's going crazy right now in the chat. But god damn, sometimes we don't need to invite white people into a conversation about what goes on with us. Who gives a fuck what Pearl has to think about what black people are doing?
And I get what he was saying, but I look at it like this. I look at it like it's not about trying to convince her or people of anything. It's about peace, Miss Plum. See you later. It's about showing our people that these are the people that are working the mechanisms of your mindset. So you need to discard that shit. It's not about getting them to convince them of anything. It's like they need to see this. This is the one. This is the woman that the manosphere embraced just because he had it. She understood the ills of women. This is the woman. Somebody that thinks like that. So it's really about painting a picture more so. It's not about convincing anybody. So how do y'all feel about that, Sean? How you feel about that example?
I wanted you to get to the part of where there was a lot of disruption and
oh yeah, we about to get
there. Yeah. So far we haven't gotten to the point of I guess because I saw the show, it's hard for me to contain what I want to address, because it was really it was a show of exactly what sometimes women are accused of. She displayed it, and then it was attempted to be defended by not only her, but Sweeney and a few other people, was trying to defend the behavior that was just spoken about that plagues our community whether it's a woman who has this behavior or whether it's a man who has this behavior. And we didn't get to the behavior just yet, but when you and her went at it, it was really a display of exactly where the dysfunction and where the separation comes within our community whereas it wasn't displayed earlier on. Because the funny thing is, when you're speaking about a subject and you're speaking about the enemy, kind of jumps around in conversations. The enemy is white people at one point, and then when the white person is gone, the enemy now becomes the black man versus the woman. And then when the black man is gone and it's just amongst women, it becomes the pick me. And so this enemy just continues to jump around so that you can behave the way that you want and you can justify your dysfunction instead of address your dysfunction.
Yeah, that's
And what killed me, my fault, okay. The thing that killed me, the thing that really bothered me about the conversation was the timing. Oh, this guy had the nerve to pull up. He really pulled up. The timing of the conversation, the timing of how she came at us, which threw it all off. Like after such a great conversation, and she kind of like proved Pearl's point. But I'm gonna let this dude you got 5 minutes to make a point. I'm gonna bring you up on here. You got 5 minutes because we're not trying to convince you of anything, sir. We read. We know that unfortunately a lot of people outside our race don't understand us, and we're not trying to convince you. We're trying to get our people to see that we're all we got. We might have people that look like they care, but if we don't get it together, our perception and our views is going to be in the hands of people who don't care about us. So I'm just letting you know, if I pull you up here, I'm not trying to convince you anything. I just hope that you have some facts that you know you talk about. You got 5 minutes. If you say anything remotely, remotely weird, I'm dropping you and you're gonna be blocked forever. Like if I just hit you, you're out of here. Like I don't care. But I'm gonna let you come up here. But I hope you got to make your points like quick, like real quick.
It's not about color or race or none of that bullshit. It's about rich versus poor. Where I grew up, white people were the minority. We didn't have shit.
Is he boyfriend
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up the same way that everybody else went through a struggle. I went through the same struggle. So it's not about all that. And right now, the media, that's what they push. They're selling that shit. They're selling racism. They're selling racism to us in the media and everything. In music and everything.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Now you're making a very valid point, but what you're missing is that it definitely does. You might have grew up poor, but you didn't grow up to where you were black. So while you were poor, and you might have.
What does that even mean, bro?
Let me finish, and I
we're gonna let you talk. We're gonna let you talk.
I will explain it very clearly. What that means is that although you might have had some of the challenges that we had,
not all the challenges.
You're right. No one pulled up on you simply because of your race and tried to do you any harm.
They did because I was the minority. The minority people did pull up on me like that.
Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? They didn't pull up on you because of your race. They might have pulled up on you because of my race, because I
was white and it was the majority black and Hispanic neighborhood I grew up in. What do you mean, bro?
So what I'm sharing with you is that okay. So
I grew up in a predominantly black and Hispanic neighborhood. Okay, they pulled up on me because I was white. What you mean?
Okay. So let me explain that to you. Prejudice comes from prejudging, and usually prejudice comes.
Yeah, but it comes to all sides though. Like just because I'm white, bro.
Well,
we gotta let him talk, bro. You gonna be able to respond?
But I can't respond.
No, you can't.
You gotta wait for me to make a point. You gotta wait for me to make a point. Prejudice,
you'll be able to respond.
It is like what you just displayed. You was prejudging what I was going to say, and you started reacting to it. You didn't even listen to what I was going to say because of your past experience of whatever it was that triggered you. Whatever it is that's triggering you is what you're prejudging. That you understand it, and I'm like, yo, I didn't even say anything just yet.
But you're trying to make it racial, bro.
No.
Again. Do you want to ignore the fact that racial is an issue? Is that what you're saying? Because it is. It's an issue whether you like it or not.
Both ways, though. Like,
issue. It exists.
Let me explain something to him, Sean. This we gotta realize, bro. No one's talking. No one's going to act like you can't be oppressed. If you're a human being in this planet, I don't care where you are, you can go through oppression. That's not exclusive to any race. Okay. No, let me finish talking, bro. Because y'all, this is why we have these issues with y'all, because you be so pressed to speak. The whole world heard you. You have the platform in the world. You may not feel like you don't, maybe, but you do. So what I'm saying is this: it's not about race. It's not about race. It's not about race. It's about classism, and it's about history. So just because you grew up in a predominantly neighborhood with Spanish and Black, so maybe you might have an experience where you are outcast, but you're not going up against a system. You're talking about the opinions of people in your neighborhood where you are outcast. You never went up against a system that alienates you specifically, and you don't have anything to prove that. We can prove that. So even though I've been in situations where in my neighborhood, there was no white people in my neighborhood, and I got in fights. I got jumped. I've been robbed by people that look just like me. It happens, but you've never went up against the United States of America. No, you went up against a couple ignorant Black people. There was no system in this country that was made to ostracize actually bodies of work where the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover said, our goal is to prevent the rise of a Black Messiah. Fred Hampton Jr. hold on. Fred Hampton Jr. was shot 17 times in his sleep. The breakfast program that the United States government used, you know who they got it from? They literally got it from the Black Panthers. And they murdered those people. So unless you can show me upstart groups in the white community where they was feeding their children, where they were just trying to help white people, and the government totally eradicated you, you would never be able to put your situation in our situation from a bigger picture. You're talking about individual shit. Individually, we're gonna go through a lot of stuff. I'm talking about as a whole. What as a whole stopped your people as a whole?
Right. Well, white Democrats elected Barack Obama, right?
Yeah. What did Barack Obama do to stop the upward mobility of white people?
He didn't do shit because he was a fake.
What are you talking about?
Barack Obama got elected by white Democrats.
What did Barack Obama do to prevent the upward mobility of your people?
This is stupid.
What do you mean? I'm saying that you're talking about how the system is against Blacks, and the Barack Obama got it voted in, dude.
What did Barack Obama do to stop and prevent the upward mobility of your people?
Why did he need to do that?
Answer the question, because that's what happened to us. So I'm trying to, because you're trying to justify how you and I are saying.
But
so
when you say us, you're acting like you were an active member of slavery or something. Like that's not
like I'm an active.
It's cool. What he's saying, I got him, because this is light work. We're not acting like that at all. We're talking about. Are you familiar with redlining? Do you know what that is?
No, it sounds like bullshit politician shit.
Well, so it sounds. See, that's what I'm saying. That's not an intelligent response. Like if you were to ask me,
because there's all these like.
You're gonna stop talking when I'm talking, because I don't need to do this, because I'm informed. I read. I don't need to prove nothing to you about anything I know. It means absolutely nothing. I'm just being gracious to you since you have so much to say in the chat. So what I'm trying to test your knowledge base, because you talk a lot, but I don't think you really know what you're talking about, because you're so touchy about the black and white thing. So what I'm asking
you don't even let me talk. You just cut me off and you scream and shout, like, you know.
First of all, it's my show. I don't really care how you feel.
No, I get it. It's your show, but like you're saying, you're trying to like give me a chance to talk, and you don't.
I'm asking you questions that you don't have the answer to, because you compare yourself to us.
Ask me the question. I'll give you the answer.
I asked you 4 times already, didn't have the answer. So what I'm saying is, what we're talking about is, because you're trying to say, hey, I went through fucked up shit just like you went through fucked up shit. That's your argument. What I'm telling you is,
I didn't say those words at all, but okay.
You didn't say that verbatim, but you said, when I grew up in the neighborhood, I got attacked by black people just like you got attacked by black people. We're all the same. What's the difference between race?
No, I said the same way that you get attacked by white people, I get attacked by black people. It's the same thing.
I never said I even got attacked by white people. I never even said that.
That's an exception. That's an exception. And there's exceptions in every rule. We're talking about generally. Like he just said. He said, "Do
So
you know
only
what
black people
redlining?"
can be oppressed, is what you're saying, bro?
That's not what we're saying.
That's crazy work. That's crazy work.
Listen to some. Listen to some of the questions. He said, "Did you know what redlining was?" You said, "No, I'm not familiar. It's probably some politics."
Not
okay. That's what he's trying to do.
Explain it. You know why? Because as soon as we said it, what did you say? You said that sounds like. You didn't say I didn't know that. The second time when we called you on it, when he just asked you, now you said, well, explain it. But you know what you said the first time? Because we're talking about our nature. So that means your first response is 9 out of 10 times your natural response. Your natural response was, that sounds like some politic bullshit, which means, my friend, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you are programmed to think that anybody that has a challenge to your perspective is a liberal. So you live in that mind of liberals or Democrats. Like y'all are just following a trend of a mindset that they're making everybody think either liberal or Democrat. As if that has anything to do with anything. When our people was attacked, we was attacked by liberals and Democrats and conservatives. It really didn't matter. So what I'm telling you is, if you do not understand the history in this country, because right now, if I break my foot, right, and 5 years later I have a limp, somebody's gonna ask me, hey, why are you limping? I'm gonna say 5 years ago I injured my foot, so I currently 5 years later still limp. So we're describing, listen, we're describing a limp from an activity that hasn't been remedied. Are we saying we're enslaved? No, we're not enslaved, but we're still suffering from politics that took wealth from us. See, it's about wealth. See, when they attack Black Wall Street, when they red lines where Black people are not allowed to live, when you redline areas, you have things like Jim Crow. When you give people, when you deny people wealth, you prevent their future generations from having it. So just because you don't see what's being hit on us, the damage was done to prevent mobility today. So I don't have to be in a noose. It's about economics. If you displace my grandmother and you take wealth from my grandmother, that's going to prevent her from giving it to me. So we're describing past atrocities that have current ramifications. That's why this country, even though the Holocaust didn't happen in America, right, buddy? It happened in Germany. But guess what? America still gives them billions of dollars because they remember. So why, when we're bringing up things that affected us, why does that bother you so much? Why do you even give a fuck how we feel about what we went through? Why does that bother you so much? The fact that it bothers you so much speaks to the sentiment of an assumption that what you say fucking matters more than what we say. And if you don't even have, yes, because what you're talking about has nothing to do with us.
I don't give a fuck. The thing is, I don't give a fuck. But the Jewish people were the ones that took African tribes, sold their own people to the Jewish, who then sold them to the Americans.
No.
And you know what?
That's not true.
That's the
true.
truth.
And on top of that, hold on, Sean. What year are you talking about? Tag Master, what year are you talking about? What year did that happen?
Just let me continue. Like you guys tell me to talk. You talk, let me talk. Right? And so, had those Africans not come to America, you'd never have African Americans.
Okay, all right, you said it. We already got that.
Only Africans who were stuck in.
What year? I need to ask you a question. Do you have any literature? I'm gonna unmute you. Do you have any literature to back up your arguments?
Well, you guys.
Do you have any literature to support your arguments?
They talk every time.
You're making a historical claim.
Literature to support your argument.
You keep muting me every time I try to talk.
Do you have any literature to support your argument? Because I was educated in America, and I know when I go to schools, my teachers always ask me to show my work and provide sources for your evidence. That's what we learned in this white academia country, where they ask you to cite your sources when you're doing papers. I learned that from you guys. So I'm asking you, do you have any literature to support your claim, sir?
Unmute him.
I'm muted. I keep getting muted. Every time I try to talk, you guys just mute me. So, like, what's the purpose?
Literature to support your claim.
What's the purpose of having a conversation when you mute me every time I try to spit
Get
facts?
the fuck out of here. You don't have the literature. We're not about to play with this goofy dude. He didn't have the information. Like I said, when you hold them to it, they don't have nothing. It's nothing he had. I asked him 4 times. They don't have any information. They don't have any literature. It's I'm white and you have to be wrong because you're just some Negroes talking some bullshit on the internet.
With that early bullshit, because crime is about proximity. So you was in a black neighborhood. That's why you got your ass whooped. The same reason the other black people in that same neighborhood was getting their ass whooped. Had you grew up in a white neighborhood, guess who would have been whooping your ass? White people. Exactly. It's about proximity. It's not, oh, hey, he's white. It's you're here and we're about to do something. So you're here. We did it to you.
Well, we was talking about his feelings.
Tommy, in fairness, that's not entirely true. We know that. We know that when there are different races in our communities, they're targeted. Just and vice versa, and that does exist
for the community.
No, police is a different story. I agree with you, but what I'm pointing out is that it's not specific to when there are people who are targeted because of race, and white people who live in black neighborhoods were targeted at times. Not all, but it definitely existed. Now,
well, you see, what asked him the major question. I said, "Can you give me an example of how the system prevented you from upward mobility?" What did he say? The Democrats voted for that. Like they're not even thinking. It's like a rebuttal. Like you talking to somebody to tell them, like I used to do telemarketing, and they would just give you rebuttals. When somebody say this, say that. When somebody say this, say that. And if you look at people, period, of all races, especially in this content place, they don't think for real. They just respond. So I asked him, and what he said was, Obama voted. The Democrats voted in Obama as if a black man getting voted into president proves that they were attacked, or that proves that someone was holding them back. It's like they don't even.
Well, the funny thing is that argument that he was trying to use. It's an argument.
My job, bro. I'm a manager. I tell people what to do.
The argument that he was using is an argument that a lot of people like to use, which is now that a black man has become a president, all of a sudden everything is erased, and it's just not the case.
According to them, he went black.
And think about it. That's why I asked him. I said, well, "How did Obama get in office prevent you from doing anything?" They just talking, and they talk from a position where they assume that you're stupid. But he interrupted us.
Yeah,
I just gave him a little.
I don't think you look like he was older. But one thing that I think they don't get about us, because we're raised being taught this history. And I'm not blaming them, but I don't think white people raise their kids teaching them the same history that we're being taught.
Hell no.
So for them, the events that we're talking about is literally like 100 and something years ago, because it's not reinforced to them. So like me, I have my grandfather's uncle. In the 2000s, he was still scared to sit in a restaurant with white people because of what happened to him. So that's something that I see. And I understand, okay, this is what happened. For them, like I put it like this. I'm sure all of you guys have white friends. When's the last time one of them said, damn, my dad told me they did some fucked up shit back in the day, but you know what? They changed. I've never heard it, not fucking once.
Reaper, come on camera.
But somebody was in them black and white pictures whooping ass. So where are those people at? And where are their kids? And where are their grandkids? Because we never hear from them. They act like the shit never happened. We saw what happened with Jerry Jones. When we saw the picture of him, no, what happened was I was just trying to see what was going on. That's what they do. You did all of this shit in the past, and then when your kids is getting raised, that's why we had this disconnect with the generations. When our generation comes and we're talking to them from what our parents told us, they're completely conflicted because they were never told this shit. So even like when you said redlining, how are you an American? You don't know redlining because your parents not talking to you about that.
But look how he responded to it. I don't know what is that. Oh, that's some political bullshit. That's bullshit.
But what's
funny is, hold on, Tommy. What's funny is, like I be telling y'all, when we dealing with these black panelists, they have the spirit of these people. When I brought up books, when I was on Lapeef a couple weeks ago, what did they tell me? Oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I don't want to hear that bullshit. It's the spirit. It's like the Matrix. Inside of everybody's an Agent Smith. As soon as you show that you Neo, they're gonna show you that they Agent Smith. I don't know who Mercy Justice is that keep coming through But I don't even trust that name. That sound like some police shit. I ain't even pulling you up there. If I don't know you and you haven't said them in the chat, or I can know your mentality, I'm just not gonna let you randomly come up here. Like this ain't one of them. This ain't one of them shows.
Let him land with this. This is how close we were to redlining. It's a city out here called El Dorado Hills, California. It's an affluent suburb outside of Sacramento. We had a black family buy a house out there, and when they got the deed to the house, it literally still said on there, "Do not sell to coloreds." That's how close we are to redlining. That shit went 100 years ago. But when they talk about it, again, that's why they always jump straight to slavery, because slavery was so far ago. But you don't want to talk about all the shit that came after it. Go ahead.
Have any one of y'all ever seen like your grandmother's birth certificate and it had Negro on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had my great grandmother around, so I heard the stories when shit was active.
Yeah, it's real out there, man. But just guys like him, it's like we know he don't know nothing about history. The stuff he's saying is crazy.
Well, what's interesting is
the Jews sold y'all to Africans. Like, boy, the Jews were expelled on 1492. Like, what do you? Like, shut up.
Black. And salute to everybody in the chat. Apologies for coming in so abruptly. Salute to my brother, world class. Salute to Tommy B. Straight up Trife Life Tommy B. And salute to Illasophical.
I ain't seen you in a minute.
Salute, bro. Yeah, I've been busy, man. But it's funny. You guys talk about history. We the only people that gets told, or black people. Let me say black because people say, "Oh, you're African." About fair enough. Black Americans are only people that are told to forget about their history. The reason why is because it's the most powerful. If any white person, Irish person, if anybody else had the history of African Americans in this country and the way they persevered, they would propagandize that to the gills.
Yeah.
But then you have, and it's fair enough when white people say it. Oh, forget about they're white, whatever. Like, but when other black people don't look at it as a way to weaponize it, to teach the children, to teach the youth of the country, and use it in a way to galvanize them, energize them to do better than us, right? It's disgusting. Every other group takes their parts of history and they lie about it. They lie about it. Go to an Italian person's house and hear about the all the extols of the Roman Empire, and you even might hear some people talk about Mussolini. And this guy was, whatever. I ain't gonna get into that, right? So, but it's just funny how Black Americans get told, this crap, and other Black Americans back it up and say, forget about the history. Like, why? Why would you forget about history?
And the thing, Burrell is. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna come behind.
No, I was just gonna say one more thing. I remember there was an Irish comedian, if I remember, he said if this was damn, I'm forgetting his name now. He used to do this show called Tough Crowd. And I remember he said if white people were treated, if Irish people were treated like how white people or how black people were treated, they would have burned America down. And they get confused as to why black people haven't done that yet. Just think about how powerful that statement is. Everybody else would have burned America down, and yet black people haven't.
And I can tell you real quick why we don't, because this is our shit, and we know that. Irish man will burn down somebody else's shit, but this is our shit. Everybody keep telling all us that we come from some fucking shit that didn't exist. That's the reason we don't. Our grandmother's been telling us we from here. Grandfather's been telling us that. That's why we would have fucking gonna burn this shit down.
And this thing. Go ahead. I'm gonna go after you.
And I'm just in what Illa said. We wasn't before they came over here. We wasn't on that type shit. We had already had our wars.
Even when they got here, we was cool because after slavery, we still was yes, boss, yes, boss, yes, all that. So it's like what you expect after years and years and years. But this is the thing I want to make. I hope people are paying attention to this. I don't bring up history to say this is why I can't make $1. This is why you can't make $1. Even though there's some truth to that as a whole, but that's not why I bring up history. I bring up history to show you a history of behavior from us and them. If you see us behaving, fuck the money, fuck all of that. Behavior. If you're seeing a pattern of a certain behavior from a people, violence, chicanery, trickery, deception, and you compare that to our behavior, something changed. We wasn't always like that. So history should show you the patterns of behavior, and you should see a drastic change in your behavior that wasn't always there. So when I bring up history, it's not to paint an excuse, it's to show you whose nature is what. Because what this woman said on the show is that you're basically trying to make it seem like we're naturally something when the opposite is actually true. But I want to get to the part of the video where we embarrass ourselves and where the narrative got shifted to how I am or how Saint was or how the men was. And I just want y'all to see it unfold in real time.
Hold on, wait. You was fucking with us tooth and nail.
That's what I said when I came on the panel when I first spoke.
I just realize it's trendy right now. It's trendy to speak about black people. If you go on X,
that's what I was going to say. If you go on TikTok, it's
far-right conservatives, they're speaking about black people just for no reason.
He's speaking. Sounds like he understands what we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. All right, just being clear.
It's fun for them to say the N-word, and me, myself, and I personally, I don't care about the N-word. I'm not sensitive, but with these white folks that use the N-word on Twitter, it's just very funny because if I'm gonna use a word, I don't even cuss actually. But if I am gonna use a word, I'll use the word in any situation. And I have these white racists that come on my show sometime, and I asked them, would you say, I see you say it on X, you even said it on stream. Okay, someone was calling, I believe, another content creator the N-word. And I said, would you say this in every situation? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, would you say it if you were walking in Newark, New Jersey, walking in, in Chicago? If you were walking, would you say it in the hood around these black people? Nah, I kind of know when to use it and when not to use it. Ah, okay, I see. That's not very masculine. It's effeminate behavior. But
they don't use it around black folks.
I think the main point, though, I do think it's trendy. This is why a lot of people are making content about this black fatigue. Like I said before, if it's black fatigue, it's all fatigue. But as black people, we must be aware and we must acknowledge and understand our own shortcomings, because that's the only way we can get through. We must.
That's one thing I hate when people say, not necessarily trying to point Cooley out, but who the fuck don't know our problems? That shit is as American as apple pie. Talking about black people's issues is basically mainstream culture. Like, why do people act like we need a reckoning? We've always known our issues because no one would let us forget them. Like, how do y'all feel about that narrative of we must confront our issues as if we don't, as if we just like we don't know what's our problem, like we're blind to it? Like, how do y'all feel about that narrative?
It's BS, because if you look at all the trends, right? You talk about criminality, you talk about murder. All these things have been on a downward trend for years, right? I hate when people look at things at like a point in time and say,
I think he froze.
Oh man, he got yo. How does this guy keep being able to come back to the show?
It's been down. So people don't talk about these trends at all, the improvements we make. And the thing about it is that, let's be honest, and I'm not attacking Cooley, I'm not attacking anybody. Are any of these people going to actually look at the groups, look at the movements that have been happening from city to city, where people that have actually worked towards lowering crime, fighting against crime, improving crime? I haven't heard any of these people talk about the movements that have been happening in Baltimore, where the mayor is making substantive changes that's actually translating into lower crime rates. No one's going to, it's boring, but no one talks about that. So when people say we have to address, people are addressing the issue, but you don't want to cover that because it's boring. It doesn't give you clicks. Illasophical. Do you remember, because you from the tri-state, you remember back in the day, in the 90s, when New York was called the murder capital of the world?
Yeah.
No one calls it that anymore, right?
No. They just had 12 days. They just had 12 days of no murders for the first time in history of New York. 12 days with no murders.
What it like the first 12 days of the year?
No, it just happened, I believe. If I'm mistaken. If I'm mistaken, correct me.
And remember back in the day, black people were the face of drugs. Remember, it was just say no. As soon as the whole opioid shit popped off, and people, and by the way, drug abuse rates have been equal amongst black and white people for eons, but no one talks about it, right? So it's all bullshit and propaganda. That's all it is. If you want to talk about criminality, let's get down to the numbers. But you also have to talk about the trends, the improvements that have been made over the years. Black people have been addressing these things with literally little to no help for the most part from the federal government. from the country as a whole. Black people have been doing it by themselves. But again, people look at things at a point in time because it's cool. You got to show me the trends. Like I said, New York used to be the so-called murder capital. All these places, they even picking places like Chicago is not even the top 10 dangerous city in the US. That's why I don't like these conversations, because like you guys don't actually want to do the work. Not you. I'm just saying in general, people just like to look at things and say, oh yeah, black people, this black. I'm like, bro, if you go around most of these black places, for instance, I'm sorry for babbling on. When these people say things like, oh, if you go to a black neighborhood, my being pre-gentrification. If you white in the 90s, nothing's gonna happen to you. So all this shit about you being scared or black people, bro, nothing. Y'all motherfuckers are not even around this criminality. What the fuck are y'all talking about?
It's funny because in New York also, I seen some clips of black kids in the 70s that getting harassed by white kids and saying Duquesne, like in Long Island in certain neighborhoods. They was getting them the fuck up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So
they
the
don't talk
lies are
about
just
back
bullshit.
in the day when you had the people from Bensonhurst. Remember the black dude who got deleted?
Yusuf Hawkins. Yusuf Hawkins.
Thank you, Yusuf Hawkins. They don't talk about the white criminality. They don't talk about these dudes. So I just get tired of it where, like you said, black criminality has been on the forefront for years. It's still to this day, even to the fact that, for instance, Lady Riley, the swimmer that's been complaining about the trans swim, blah, blah. Do you know her coach has been alleged to have been abusing those girls? Abusing girls? Like, there's a whole thing where her coach is known to have done that. There's a whole, I don't know if he's been arrested or whatever, but there's a whole thing behind that shit. They don't talk about that shit. We don't talk about white criminality. We don't talk about criminality anywhere else but black people, because you know why? Black people, unfortunately, we don't have the power to cachet to make impact and say, hey, you talk shit about us and we'll cut off your money. So they try to think of us like with some low denominator shit. My bad.
And most of our prominent people with money are compromised. So they don't have the balls or the means to really put up a front. You see how it happens. People, because we all know Puff is nasty, he's a nasty guy. But they didn't come down to him until he beat them in court. See, people forget about Puff took that liquor company to court and he beat on a racial discrimination. And we're not defending Puff hitting Cassie. We're not doing none of that because the people are here. See, they're defending. No, he's dead wrong. But you got to ask yourself, if you see somebody it's like you in class and you see some, or basically you just see somebody who gets away with something all the time. And you'll tell that person like, yo, you see so-and-so doing this bullshit? They be like, man, I don't care. And then that one day they say, I'm gonna say something to him about him. I'm gonna ask you like, yo, what made you say something today? Because he's been doing this for 20 years. And that's the questions our people don't ask. We know Puff was guilty a long time ago. We knew R. Kelly was guilty a long time ago. We seen R. Kelly urinate on that girl and everybody built the chocolate factory. So the question, guilt, or it's about program constructed consciousness, as Miss Pearl likes to say.
It's your program, my guy. Look at it this way.
Because why the hell?
How that work, us?
Why do they have the power to tell us when to use our eyes or not? You seen them smack the shit out of that person, but you didn't do nothing until they told you to get mad about it. It's like if somebody is dead wrong about something, get on them when the atrocity happens. Don't wait until the media or to mainstream culture tells you, because that shows me that you're programmed and you don't have genuine opinions. Somebody's telling you how to feel. But when Puff, not when he did something to Cassie, not when he did something to these boys or the baby or you, that's not when they came at him. They came at him when he beat those people in court over that liquor and how he beat them on racial discrimination. And that's when all these charges came out. But
it's all propaganda, because I'm not backing up Puff whatsoever. They did the same thing with Prince. When Prince was a guy who was about his masters. Same thing with MJ. The amount of power MJ had with the Sony catalog and owning, Eminem, bro. They always do. I mean, what's your man's name? The comedian, I'm forgetting. Eddie Griffin. He said, look, man, black men, you get to a certain point, they got it. They're going to use a propaganda. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially they use a propaganda machine. But it's us. This is why when you said that comment about the reading comment, I got so mad when people fought against it, and the history thing, because it repeats itself. Guys, whenever a black person fights for their ownership, they either get deleted or their personality gets their profile gets destroyed. You go back all the way to Sam Cooke. You go all the way back to Sam Cooke, who got so-called, allegedly deleted because that man was about his masters as publishing, right? So it's all propaganda. That's why when people say the stuff with Diddy, you want to talk about the real demons? You got guys like Les Moonves. You got guys like Matt Lauer. I'm not even talking about what's your man? What the movie shit? Is it Epstein? What not? Epstein,
Man, fucking Elvis his girl was what 14.
Elvis was with. Come on, bro.
Hugh Hefner in the 80s
used to
had
pop
Brooke.
pills in girls' mouths.
He had Brooke Shields pose naked in Playboy, and she was 11 years old.
Yes.
That was normalized.
That is normalized and forgotten. Black people, it's P. Diddy, and the thing P. Diddy pales in comparison to these guys in two. P. Diddy probably had evidence on these other guys doing some. Of
course, it was a humiliation ritual. It's a humiliation ritual.
I'm sorry, but world class. My bad. I keep cutting you off. My bad, bro.
We're not defending Puff. We're not defending what he did. We're saying that if he was guilty, then he should have been arrested a long time ago, not when he beats a white conglomerate in court. So is it about his guilt, or is it about him beating someone in court? Because he's been guilty. He's been doing these things. It's not about nobody's defending that shit. Hell no, ain't defending that shit. But if he was guilty, then he should have been arrested. But who's going to say something? Because I think I'm going to do a part 2, y'all, because I want to really get to the end of this conversation with this woman. Then I'll probably do a part 2 later this week with the Tommy Sotomayor conversation. But anybody want to jump in there before I get back to the video? I
just want to address it. I wanted to address your question on why they always. Oh, go ahead.
Hold on, World Class. Let her get in real quick.
Go ahead, bro. Miss Bro.
I'm just gonna add. I don't think it's about who's wrong and who's right. Once they become celebrities, they're already a puddle. It's always going to be how much money you're making us. So if you're saying like he took the big conglomerate to court and he won, so now we actually have to pay you money that we selectively been paying you, it's almost like you didn't try to fight the legal schedule. So now we got to punish you. It has nothing to do with me holding you accountable. Like you're a nigger to us. Like you're just on the plantation picking that cotton. Like it has nothing to do. Like they always do that. Like they gonna make us high, and then right before you die, they gonna make sure you die low. That's just the game that they always play. So Diddy ain't no different than nobody else. He just fell on the sword just like everybody else. Because once they get that money, they get that inflated ego, and you actually think you're gonna go against your slave masters, and you're gonna make them give you something. Like you're not. You're still doing like he's just being punished right now. That's about it. It has nothing to do with accountability. You just can't go against them. They don't like that.
Mm-hmm. And real quick disclaimer, if you have a wrench by your name, use that shit. It's not a sticker. If you see somebody doing something goofy, you got the power to kick their ass the hell up out of here. This ain't these other channels that just want a whole bunch of people up here just to make a whole bunch of chaotic scenes. Like, as you can see, people always swear, ill as this. We ain't nobody arguing on my channel. Ain't nobody getting cursed out. Conversation is flowing. I don't carry that spirit. I just don't deal with no fuckery, and I will give you what you asked for. But as you can see on my channel, it's a peaceful conversation. So is it me? Is it them? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it to me. But like I said, if you got a wrench, use that shit. That's your hammer I gave you. Get them the fuck out of here when they talk that shit. But I think World Class gonna jump in there. Tommy, then Reba, then we're gonna go back to the video. And Sean, if you want to add to that too. But go ahead, World Class, on you.
Super quick to answer your question on why they keep telling us we got to go deal with our problems. It's just a redirect. It's just gaslighting at its highest. That's all. Because they don't want you to really focus on all the solutions that came out already. They want you to think, oh no, you still haven't solved this problem. No, actually, no, we solved all these problems in the 20s. They've been done. That's why you go through high school, you don't hear certain names. Never heard of Noble Drew Ali. Barely heard of Marcus Garvey. We learned about Martin Luther King. They didn't really want to talk about Malcolm. So many different people. They didn't even really
talk about fully what Martin's message was. Martin said, "I came here to get a check." People try to throw him on he wasn't just reach out overcoming. He might have went about it in a passive way, but he was coming for a bag. You know what I'm saying? But Tommy made a good point about the fact that we always had to reset. We get somewhere, and they literally move the goalposts, like literally.
That's it. That's the whole. There's a redirective, so you can again plan on them damn feelings and operating, having us operate outside of how we normally operate, and that's through thinking. That's why we got people today. I don't deal with religion. Well, religion just means to rebind, and you do that religiously with anything that's of substance. Now we don't like religion because we confuse that with dogma. When the Bible or the Quran, I say the Bible 2,000 years ago was just Google. It's just what people knew. They didn't have the stupid song and dance we was having in the church. It was just science to us. Now we don't like religion.
I'm gonna read this real quick, World. I mean to cut you off because this is a good point. He said we need to understand we have lasting psychological trauma. Therefore, we have trust issues and lateral violence with each other. We need to earn each other's trust first individually and create. That's an excellent point. And I'm glad somebody from the crowd said that because I want to say this real quick to the people. A lot of people don't come to y'all with real information because they think you're stupid. Most content creators in this space doesn't talk to the thinker in you, doesn't talk to the king in you, doesn't talk to the queen in you, doesn't talk to the higher version of yourself. They talk to the consumer in you. That's why they shocked when we bring up books and we bring up stats because they've been convinced that your black people are what the media says they are. These people don't read. Why would I bring up books? They don't believe that shit. And you can tell by whose content, by who really loves you based on what they're talking about. Because if they love you, they're going to tell you the real shit. These cats think you're dumb and they think that you're just good enough to be super chats and help their channel grow. They do not have any respect for your consciousness or intelligence whatsoever. And they penalize the people that do. I believe in you. When I was literally told on the show, come on, you're telling people to read. Like, yeah, like, what the fuck was you talking about? Like, that's the bullshit I'm talking about. Like, I'll bring up history to show you why we have mental and social issues, but I will never, ever talk to our people as if referring them to literature is out of the question. If we're at that point, and it's really over. But go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
I just want to add to R324 V6P. Like when you're talking about, we have long-standing psychological trauma. Therefore, we have trust issues. So I've been in the school systems for 20 years now, and there's a reason why they always have us teach Malcolm X. Like those two are seemingly contrarian. So when you're educating or you're trying to indoctrinate people, it's very easy to separate us and create divisiveness by literally giving us two different leaders who have two different perspectives. So you're always going to have two people on two different sides, right? And then you kind of throw a submissive black woman, Rosa Parks, in there, old woman that really didn't do too much. And those are like the three that you are learning from pre-K all the way to 12th, right? And then you get to college and they're like, we want you to critically think. That's absolutely impossible. I've already been emotionally hijacked and psychologically traumatized. And then you literally only give me these three people, but you want me to be so thorough, right? Educated and cultured, right? But you want me all of the wrong things. So those two contrarians alone, even though they weren't, and they exclusively worked together, which they like low key showed you, but not really too much. So again, I just wanted to point that out. I completely agree. But the way that we've learned, and it's not really learned, it's indoctrinated, it's through decisiveness. So I just wanted to point that out.
That was a perfect point.
This brother said, do y'all think most black people actually care about it? Actually, my thing is they don't care about it because they don't know how it's relative to today. And that's why they probably don't care about it, because they don't understand how it affects them. It's hard to see the impact of something if you don't know it's affecting you. You know what I mean? It's like going to the doctor and you find out you got gallbladders and all that. I feel fine. You feel fine, but you don't know what's actually affecting you because you don't have the analysis for what's going on inside you. So yeah, a lot of them don't want to know because they don't see the value in it, and they think that they've made it. Well, I got my job, I got my money. I don't. What the fuck I need to know about the past for? So you're right, brother. They don't want to know, but that's why we here, because ultimately, I feel like it's about the children. You can't teach adult shit. You can't teach old dog new tricks. But the youth need to understand that. Go ahead.
Honestly, Illa, I think a lot of people's I'll say this. I think a lot of people are scared about it because they don't know how to control their emotions. Because if you look back and you look at history and you say, man, we've been effed up this much, those will be the people that they can't work, they would maybe have a psychological break. To this day, I don't know anybody who has said, hey man, history's been this, blah, blah, we've been held down by this. I don't know any of those people to not have a job or not have a career. Right. So when people say, oh, if you think about it, it's going to hold you back. I don't know, not near one person who says, yeah, this group did this to us, blah, blah, and they don't have a job or a career and they're not making money. So
Absolutely.
all
That's
that
what
stuff
killed
when
me.
people say it's holding us back, I'm like, I don't know anybody who literally sits at home, lives off welfare, and all they say to me when I visit with or I chill with them is like, yo, man, a white man's holding me. I don't know, not near one person. So that a lot of these people, they're not outside. They don't have friends, they don't have families, or not say family, I don't say that, but they don't have friends, they're not outside. So when they say some of this stupid shit, is excuse my language, is either narratives that they push or they hear something online. Because I'm like, I don't know anybody who does that. Like half the people y'all sit up here and say black people this, black people. I know people have 2, 3 freaking security jobs. They work their asses off despite the fact that you could look back and say, yeah, you know what? White people did destroy Jamaica. So they had to come over here to America. Parents didn't really have much of anything. There's no education, whatever. So they're the first person to go to high school. They're the first person to do this. And they try to make something of themselves. I don't
Yeah,
know a lot of people's, you know what I'm saying? So, go ahead.
the,
Go ahead.
That's a great point.
the entirety of our community is about caring about our history. The entirety of it. Black people got to work twice as hard to do the same thing. It's ingrained in us from the beginning. All the extra shit that we do on a football field, rapping, basketball field, is because we looked at this history. Oh, we bitches. Oh, we punks. Or y'all can just watch this. Every opportunity we got, we drag. And so yeah, they care. They may not care to the degree in which you want to compare somebody to some other race. And we don't care the same way because we ain't got the same weapons. But we definitely care because we try.
You don't want an educated black populace and one that remembers his history. What did J. Edgar Hoover say? He said the Black Panthers were the greatest threat to internal security in America. Mind you, this is a allegedly a half black or a mixed guy who's also a closet, whatever. But anyway,
Yeah, drag queen.
right? You don't want these people being educated. Look what the reason why California doesn't have guns right now is because of the Black Panthers. Whenever you have an educated black populace and they remember, they're not going to sit up there and they're not going to destroy and burn America they're not going to sit up there and just delete people. They're going to build institutions. They're going to build groups that are going to challenge the status quo, that won't forget, and they're going to actually build things that black people. That's why you've had the Black Panthers, right? For example, they've been one of the most perverted, one of the most infiltrated groups. You had to. J. Edgar Hoover said we cannot have a black messiah. That's what happened when
Let
you
me
had
correct
things like
you.
the Black Panther. So you have to make black people forget and pacify them. Give them. Oh yeah, you have like the dude said. Oh, a business. What does having a business have to do with anything? You being an entrepreneur does not mean you cannot remember history and build from there and build institutions that say,
Because
hey,
they
we are
keep
not
looking
going to
at
forget.
because the present moment is about the present. Your individual prowess is about the individual, but the historical situation, the historical atrocities, is about preventing the group. And that's what these people don't understand. But go ahead, Pearl, and then come in there, Tommy. Go ahead, Pearl.
I just wanted to add to the do most black people actually care about black history? Again, that's a part of the constructed consciousness that's here. Constructed consciousness is when you have like the big conglomerates that come together and decide what books are going to be created, who's going to pick those voices, whose voices are going to be marginalized, and what context of those like historical editions are going to be added or not. So again, I say all that to say we've been desensitized to our history and we've allowed every other race to seem like they're glamorized. Like every time every other race has their history, like their goddesses, they got statues, they have a lot of things that commemorate them. And then when you come to our side, it's like, yeah, we're going to commemorate you guys as slaves. Like that's as far back as your history goes. That's here. Like we don't have a lot of movies where we're royalty. We don't have those pictures about Marcus Garvey. We don't have those about a lot of our elites. And that's not taught. We just had that conversation. So it's not just not taught in schools. It's not displayed through our media. And we know why, because we don't own media. We don't have our way in that, right? So a lot of what our kids know, a lot of what we know is very limited. And after so long, and you hearing you a slave, you a slave, you a slave, you a slave. It's like, I don't want to hear that shit no more. Like what else is new? But if you show us something,
But not even then, because we're trusting too much on our oppressors to show us something. They didn't show us enough. They're not going to teach us.
Mhm.
You have to go outside of what you know. That's called pedagogy. Like, you have to go outside of what they're teaching you and say, I know I'm more than a slave because I know my history started before here. So I say all that to stand and land my plane. That's the reason why a lot of people don't care. They've become desensitized. They're indoctrinated by what they know here. But if, again, you look at every other race, they're highlighted for their greats, right? And the things that they did really well. And then for us, it's not that. So you have to look beyond what they're showing you, because they're only going to show you our worst. So you got to do your own history and figure out who we are,
Exactly.
where we came from. And if we really were here and we never came on those boats, and that's a whole nother history lesson in itself. So you can't just keep being force-fed knowledge. If you really want questions, you got to educate yourself. Just saying, I'll land.
Miss Pearl, I need you to talk more when you on the P. I didn't know you was like this.
I told Ella somebody's gonna say that. Like, when she over here, they gonna. I mean, but the platform is different, right? The conversation is different. This is different. Right. So I have to meet them with a certain level of brevity because they can't handle that depth with me, right?
Man, smack the motherfuckers up, man. I don't give a fuck what they talking about. Go ahead, Sean, and then we're gonna go to the video.
All right.
I think Tommy's trying to go too.
It was a couple things. One of the biggest things for me that I kind of started figuring out about history that kind of completely changed my outlook on us, and I literally understood why it was kept from us, is the fact that most of us didn't come over here on the motherfucking boat. We was here already. And you know, when I kind of heard that and kind of mentally did the gymnastics to figure that out and go, you know what, that makes perfect sense. Then it like oh boy that came in here, you know, their thing is always to automatically go back to the ships, and then they can almost make it seem like it was a treat that we're over here now because they brought us over here. But no, we was already over here. We was over here comfortable, feet kicked up, yada yada yada. You feel me? So that was one thing. Another thing, kind of going to I went to correct Reaper. I think that's Reaper that said it. Don't believe the hype. California has guns. New York doesn't have guns. California, I got a AR style shotgun, an AR, couple pistols, about to go get more. But what happened with the Black Panthers is they took away open carry, because Huey P. Newton was up on the laws and he understood not only could he open carry, but he could actually the Capitol building was going on, and it wasn't illegal to walk in there with their guns out. And so when they did that, that's when even the NRA, who we all know what they support, even they supported the legislation. That's how crazy that got. But I mean, we get guns, we just got to do weird shit too, and it's ammo restrictions. But
that's why I'm in the South.
And it's kind of what I said on. And it's kind of what I was gonna say to you. I think I said on one of your posts, Illa, but like the rest of the world has this disdain for America, and it ain't because of black folks. Because when white folks travel, they act a fucking fool in other people's country. When
I was in Spain, and they told me the same thing. I hate to say it. I got some good white people I know, but when I was in Spain, Shorty was like, "Oh no, they was obsessed with black culture." Well, she was. She was like, "Oh, my blood is tainted because, you know, I'm European." This is how she was talking. She wasn't raised over here. She was from El Salvador, learned English in England, and grew up in Madrid. And it's Moors all over the statue. They're all over the place because we was all over in Spain. But I want to shout out real quick, and then I want Sean to jump up in there. Reaper Rel just came through with the $9.99. I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, Reaper Rel. I think you kind of messed up on these words. You said, "My bad, look, my phone died." Great combo. When I said, I guess you said performed on the Black Panthers. I know you didn't say that. So something on the Black Panthers. I meant external forces that destroyed them with agents and the like. Just to clarify, I appreciate that. Yeah, but yeah, finish what you were saying, Tommy. Then.
I'm about to drop, Ella. Y'all be safe.
All right, peace. He's pulling up.
All right, work class. I was gonna tell you the link I dropped in the back too was a story about that the house that I was talking about. But when COVID hit, and Americans couldn't travel, and the world celebrated that fact. They wasn't celebrating because black people wasn't going over there. We don't be over there that much. It was the white folks. And I was in the military, so I went over there, and I know how they act. And they go over there and they act a fucking fool. So, this misnomer that we're the ones that, I go
Appreciate
back
it,
to what I
Beige.
said originally. We've been through all of this stuff, which I'm not going to excuse the behavior, but it kind of gives you a reason why the behavior is there. I need them to explain to me why I can find that exact same behavior in they community. Because we can give you our lineage and what y'all have done to us for us to be messed up. Why y'all doing the same thing? Why
And
y'all
my
tearing
thing
down
is, why
cities
I
when y'all
need
win a
y'all to
Super Bowl?
explain, and I need them to explain, if it's behavior based, how do you excuse what happened to the best behaved Black Americans in this country were treated the worst? But it's on you, Sean.
All right. Couple of things. One, Miss Pearl mentioned a little while ago what they're teaching us, and that's part of what I want to address. And Ella, you mentioned something even before that, which was value. The first thing is what they're teaching us. We got to teach us. In our families, we're not teaching us. And these is why these conversations amongst us are very valuable. Unfortunately, we're almost like the preaching to the choir, because we all are kind of aware, and some of the people who need to hear some of this. That's why when that gentleman came up, the white guy, I wanted to continue because he is blind. He is ignorant to a lot of the things that he was speaking to. And the thing that you brought up, Ella, that triggered something in me was the fact of value. You mentioned the word value. And what we keep overlooking is that a lot of us are valuing money. And that in itself is really the means to what leads us to a lot of the mentality, positions, etc., that we continue to embrace, that we continue to ignore. I think when you were speaking about it, you were speaking about how do we let them all get away, because they were all accepted because they all have money, and that's the thing that we value. So everybody ignored it. Everybody ignored the fact of what was morally going on that was dysfunctional, what was morally going on that was atrocious, because they had money, and he was invited into the money, and he did whatever he needed to get to that money. And we ignore the fact of how much we value that, even to the point of how we speak about jobs that we get and so on and so forth. But if you think about the root of that in itself, is that we still are relying on people to give us jobs. And so therefore we're conditioned and educated to be workers. We're conditioned and educated. You got to stop winking at Pearl like that, because I know you wasn't winking at me. But the point being is we're conditioned to kind of be in the same cycle of what keeps us oppressed. And we never really address it. And a lot of the reasons why we don't address it is because we embrace capitalism because it's convenient to our comfort. And we dismiss all of our discomfort that provides us the capital. And then we act like we don't understand that. And then I'm like, wait, but you understand that you didn't mind compromising for your individual comfort. So to the point that was made earlier as well, trusting, I think you, Ms. Pearl, you highlighted it in the comment that was made. I speak on that all the time. Trust is the one thing that is missing and that's absent. We don't trust one another. And for a lot of good reasons, I won't even dispute that. But the point is, how do we start trusting one another? The one thing about other cultures, they trust one another for the sake of capitalism. So if we're going to be capitalists, then let's understand and be that, because that's why they have a common goal is the capital. And if we're going to have that common goal, fine, because then we don't got to trust our morality. Like, for example, you don't have to trust a used car salesman if you know about cars. His nature is to go ahead and try and sell you a car and do all of the sell you a lemon, do whatever he needs to do to sell. And if we're aware of that, it never will affect us. If we understand, all right, well, I just got to build my knowledge into cars and I go to him and still can conduct business, get what I want out of him without getting my feelings. We're the only people that always, and I know all of us can attest to this, I got to feel a vibe. I got to feel this. You know, it got to be a certain kind of way for me to deal with them, which is ourselves. For me to deal
I want to
with
read this I'm sorry, Sean. I just want to read this comment real quick. Y'all keep misquoting it. Money, the Bible's, that's not what it says. And maybe you could figure this out, Brother Raphael. The verse says money, the love of money is the root of all evil. The Bible says money answers all things, and it does. But the love of money, because people have been quoting this too. I heard this misquoted in rap songs. It's money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. So now you know you're welcome. Go ahead, Sean.
And it lends to the point that I was making, which is the fact that we have a love for money, and it's providing a lot of the evils that we're dealing with. And I'm like, do we really want a remedy? Because we act as if we want a remedy, but we really ain't looking for a solution when we're pursuing the money. When we're having the love for money, because you can have a love for money and a love for spirit and a love for family and a love for community, but how do you value it and what order?
Exactly. So great conversation. Let's get back to the type of personality we need to call out. And we're going to close, and I think I'm going to have a part 2. This was dope. I think I'm going to do a part 2, but this conversation we could have to do a whole show on just this panel. So I think I'm going to do a whole show on the Tommy Sotomayor conversation. But we're going to close out this conversation, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, then we out of here.
I completely disagree.
What'd you say? What part do you disagree with?
Because it's the same thing. We must acknowledge our shortcomings. Our shortcomings are highlighted.
A descriptor.
There were all the warning signs to leave. Einstein left. There were all the warning signs, but they stayed not believing that their enemy would act as enemies do. It's not just trendy. These
Saint, I don't want to interrupt you.
Melanesia. It's like what percent? Always hear the whites. There's even one white.
I don't want to
ability to.
Basically, we just was having a conversation about possible remedies that our people could use, and I brought up. He said we need numbers. We need to generate our number. If we may have to have children with women outside of our culture, we need to do it because we need the numbers. And I said, okay, from that perspective, you don't think it may be advantageous to create connections with our people abroad? And he started to talk about how, the distance and the time and the lack of connection could make that kind of not as advantageous as it would be to work with people over here. So that's what we're discussing. So I want you guys to look at the response. So Alicia, her whole energy changed, despite us having this conversation that we had on the panel that night. Saint asked her, how is she doing? So I'm trying to get to that point.
Program our minds can be as even the Black Panther.
So I agree. What I'm saying is, I agree with that.
So often we're basically using what we learned in university, which was a brainwash. And the idea that we're in such disrepair that we can't recover, absolutely not. It takes training, conditioning, enculturation, and education, and that can be done within a generation, but it will take force. And if we're really serious about getting on track, we have to start applying force. I've already done it. I'm not talking about what I'm guessing on. I'm talking about what I'm at work at. Like, for example, we talk about income and criminality.
Look at her face. Look at her energy. He's literally talking about what we need to do to change our people. And I just want y'all to really take mental notes of what he said so you can apply that and compare, contrast to the accusation she make and see if it adds up. Because a lot of people reviewed this conversation from such a biased perspective. And I do this so now y'all can say, oh, Illa's always right. No, I want y'all to know who's causing division amongst the brothers and the sisters. And you could tell by the commentary I have, based on the commentary that other people have, who's here for unification and who's here for clicks, likes, subscriptions, and division.
People who are poor tend to commit more crimes. So we should be teaching entrepreneurship. That's something I've been doing for over a decade, and it works. You can go to my website. You got a bunch of products created by Black people. We just have to be able to franchise it out strategically and have greater faith in ourselves. We're phenomenal people, especially those of us in America. We're the most remarkable ethnic group on earth, including the whites and anyone else you want to name.
Look at that beautiful compliment. He just said that our people is the most beautiful, most intelligent people on earth. That means he was talking about Sweeney, Bo, Lapeef, Trev, Cooley, True, Aisha, Pearl, himself, and me. He just complimented the panel. But just listen to this woman.
I agree with that. Do you, so to piggyback on your point, do you think that'll be advantageous or not for us to start looking not just as an American? Because I know we have an FBA movement where it's caused another type of schism.
It's not a movement. It's just a name.
No, I get it, but it's like Black Lives Matter was once a name, but then it became a movement. So you're right.
That was a white woman's movement. That was a little white woman movement. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's founded by George Soros, but it was first just a little hashtag, and then it became a reality. So I agree. What I'm saying is,
it's a lineage. It's just another name to say that you're Black American. You're not going to do that. You're not going to say it's a movement. It doesn't have
I get that.
Lineage. Can we
just now, who's being rude? Who's being disrespectful? Who's disrespecting somebody? Is it me or is it this woman? But let's keep watching.
By that, just like you want to be called African American.
I never even made my point.
I never said I wanted to be called African American. That never even came out of my mouth. I was just talking about how we need numbers. We might have to look abroad. But look at what this woman is saying.
I never even made the point though. I'm just talking about the concept. Because he's talking about numbers. He brought up numbers. We need numbers. So what I'm saying is that's
we
true.
need numbers.
So if we do, hell yeah. But if we do need numbers, like you said that, hey, maybe interracial dating can be advantageous because of a Black man.
No, I'm not recommending it, but I'm saying that it's militarily useful. Yes.
I agree with that. I'm just saying as a point, not saying you advocate for it, but you brought it up as an option that can be utilized efficiently. So what I'm saying is if that can be utilized efficiently, wouldn't you think that, and I'm just throwing it out there to the panel, wouldn't you think that it would be advantageous to attempt to create bonds with Black?
I said to the panel. That means anybody could answer.
People abroad, if we're willing to work, hey, if y'all don't agree, y'all don't agree.
Look at
you don't think that would be advantageous to connect with Black people all over the world? If it's a numbers thing, especially if we can get numbers from being with the white woman.
Now, is that a fair argument, y'all? If our issue is numbers, and I understand the FBA conversation, I respect it, but if the conversation was numbers, is it fair for me to say, hey, would it be an option to possibly try to create more numbers with people that look like us abroad? We all know we don't have everything in common with them. But if you had to pick who is more likely to be relatable to us, I would think Islanders and Africans, if we're talking about numbers. Is that a fair thing to say, ladies and gentlemen?
It is.
It's not. Anything is fair to say, and that was a good point. But I will say that I noticed in this time looking at it is that when you did make the reference of other women in other cultures is when she checked out. Because I'm looking at her now versus prior. As soon as you made the comment about going abroad for other women, look at her face.
But I didn't necessarily say go abroad for other women. I just say
you made mention.
So it's just a conversation around.
Right. You made mention of going to other countries and to ask your question. And as soon as you made mention, if you rewind a little bit, as soon as you made mention of another woman outside of America, or maybe even a competitive to her, she immediately.
But the thing is, Sean, I didn't even bring up foreign women. When I brought it up, I was talking about numbers as far as networking.
Rewind.
No, I believe you, but I'm saying
no. I want you to look at her reaction.
No.
Maybe about a minute.
I believe. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, I didn't even bring up women over there. I just said going over there to network. Period. Like somebody might have a business over there. Somebody might have a facility. I was talking about networking with them.
I'm trying to share with you. I understand what you was talking about, but when you mentioned the woman. Go back and rewind. When you mention the woman specifically, we should look at her. Just look at it.
Can we specify that just like you want to be called African American?
I never even made my point.
That we're calling ourselves.
Never even told her I want to be called African American.
Because he's talking about numbers. He brought up numbers. We need numbers. So what I'm saying is that's
we need numbers.
She's not even listening. She's not even. I even said I wanted to be African American.
It was prior to that.
If we do need
go
numbers,
a little bit further back.
You said that hey, maybe interracial dating can be be advantageous because of a black man.
You know, so we should be teaching entrepreneurship. That's something.
Can we just specify that, just like you want to be called African American?
I never even made my point.
That we're calling ourselves.
I never even made the point though. I'm just talking about the concept because he's talking about numbers. He brought up numbers. We need numbers. So what I'm saying is that's true.
We need numbers.
But if we do, hell yeah. But if we do need numbers, like you said that hey, maybe interracial dating can be advantageous because of a black man.
No, I'm not recommending it, but I'm saying that it's militarily useful. Yes,
I agree with that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah, that was her second time reacting. The first time was when she jumped
advocate for, but you
that was a these niggas
as
reaction
that can be utilized efficiently. So what I'm saying is, if that can be utilized efficiently, wouldn't you think that
it's about to get worse?
I'm just throwing it out there to the panel. Wouldn't you think that it would be advantageous to attempt to create bonds with black people abroad if we're willing to work?
That's why I'm saying bonds with black people abroad. I never said nothing about women.
We don't agree, but I'm saying you don't think that would be advantageous to connect with black people all over the world.
I'm just saying to show you that you're not listening.
From being with the white woman and having a mixed child, if that's can be an option for help, you don't think it could possibly be an option to work with people of color, although not the ones that don't like us, but at least try to extend the olive branch if it's a numbers game, because it's a global issue that we're dealing with.
You literally just said work.
So one
with.
thing I do have Assassin Africa.
Go ahead, Poppy. What you say, Tommy?
No, I said you literally just said work with. You said
work
nothing
with.
About sex. You said work with.
Work with.
Nigeria, end of December, early January. And our great effort is to start with ideology, but Africanism never got started. I can't even say it failed because it's never gotten started. And the most important thing to understand about Pan-Africanism is even Africans within a particular nation state don't get along with each other. They don't have a significant bond. Different religions, different languages, different tribes. And it's largely a result of the failings of schooling and culturation and training.
And this man is explaining how we shouldn't do it. Just shows you how goofy this woman is. He's not even advocating for what I brought up. He's more advocating for her stance. But she's so goofy and performing the conversation instead of actually being involved in it. She don't even realize what he's saying.
The colonial powers were really good at it.
I would say that she was triggered a second ago.
It could be on the record. I'll call it that. I'll stand on that.
She was triggered. And what triggered her, we rewind it, but now now she is in full triggered mode. She is fully emotionally driven by something that was said, and her reaction is going to continue to build from there. Go ahead, watch it.
Absolutely.
At that. But the African powers that took over were really bad at that. You have to design identity. And so what I'm suggesting to you, and I've done business internationally, I used to have employees in South Africa. One of the challenges with international business toward the African continent is the distance. So it's just not realistic to be able to collaborate with people who are in a time zone that far away with a history and language that different. Even English-speaking African countries, their English isn't even quite...
He's dismissing the point. He's saying that, hey, it's better for us to work with our people. He just said he has business. Right. So he's saying, I got business over there, but I think it's better to work with us over here. So I'm just making these points because this woman is going to speak as if these points wasn't made.
The same. Like,
and then people reviewed this, spinning the narrative on me, and it's just not true. But they will remain nameless.
You go to Uganda, you might not understand them very well. So the first thing has to be ideology, and that has to start with individuals, with families, and with communities that can actually co-locate. And as we do that, then we can grow further. Like, for example, with the Chinese,
work with us first, then we can grow further.
Is really highly organized, because if you have a Chinese person in Britain, Australia, or the United States, there's something called Chinese school. They go every Saturday. They study history, culture, and language. So they're all fluent in Mandarin no matter where they were born. So until we have something like that provides a consistent, uniform outlet of meaningful information and identity, is not going to work. So what Pan-Africanists have been talking about is this kind of amorphous thing of like, well, let's get together because we're all black. No, it has to be values-based. We have to state what the values are. And again, it goes back to my point of it's lacked ideology.
He made her point and said, because I said, work with black people abroad. He said, no, you should work with people who have the same value system locally first, which is advocating her bottom line. But ignorance is a motherfucker.
I yield the floor.
Now you see how he paused? He yielded the floor and no one said anything. So I felt like to avoid this blank, weird, awkward space on the panel, I jumped out there.
I agree with that. And like you made a great point. You brought up the Nation of Islam. And that's funny because historically the last great royal or the last great empire that we have was an Islamic one, ironically. So how do y'all feel about that? Do you think that Islam would be the answer. Not saying I'm a Muslim because I used to be, but I'm really not into religion at this point. But if that was the past thing that worked for us, do you think that can be a remedy today or no?
May I ask a strange question real quick? Aisha, I've never met you before, but how do you feel? How do you feel at this moment?
In regards to what?
Your personal feeling. Like, how do you feel? Like, how are you?
Am I in a good mood today?
Like, how are you? How do you feel right now?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay. The reason I ask is because
according to a lot of people in the space, this man gaslit her and was picking on her by asking her how she's doing.
Well, let me build on that, Illa, because I think I spoke to you about this. Right now, exactly what she said is the issue. She lied. She wasn't fine. She was, and what he was picking up on is she was pouting. Like if you look at a child and your child is pouting, that's what she's doing right there. And he's asking her, what is the problem? And she sat there and lied. I want to really emphasize, because she said, I'm fine, which is the lie. And then that
we see that you're not fine.
Right. And the whole thing is, and I say this, I'm pointing it out because I identify this I just had right before I came here, I was speaking about emotional immaturity or emotional intelligence. And being able to see these things are things that we're capable of, but then when you directly address it, defense comes up when you're guilty of it. And she is guilty of exactly what's happening. And instead of answering it honestly, she deflected it with dishonesty, saying, oh, I'm fine. Just like, what's his name? Mr. Lecco would say, women are children. Every time I argue with him about that,
somebody prove us right. Somebody prove him that's right.
Right. They're proving him right. And this is a prime example of being proven right, of her acting like a child. And then she wants to ignore it, like she doesn't recognize that she's sitting over there pouting because she was triggered earlier about something she didn't want to hear or something that whatever triggered her. And now she's responding to it physically. And somebody who's observing that physical response is asking her about it so that he doesn't assume. He asked her what's going on, and she specifically, and I'm going to call her out on it, lied.
And then you got grown black people, male, especially men, that will see this and demonize me just to entice women and further. Because what people don't realize is repeating lies and creating narratives is damaging to the minds of people who are looking for answers. You're not helping people by showing them something that's purple and telling them that it's yellow. That's not helping nobody. If you're in a position to have a channel, YouTube channel, any type of content, and you could display and explain conversations in real time, the responsibility is on you to explain it accurately. And the fact that people can rehash it and lie is creating just more and more division and more confirmation bias in our people. That's not helping us at all. But let's get back to it.
I don't want you to use the word lie because y'all had your little conflict. Let me use it because I don't know her, and it's just an observation.
Oh, man, listen, she's goofy as fuck. She ain't that damn bright. You brought up them 2 degrees like you was saying something. It's cool, Sean. You can play the good guy. I'll be
no, I'm saying, but but this is the reason why I address it because
and a lot of people jumped on that shit. So I'm gonna expose your goofy ass tonight. You try to say that I was disrespectful to women, all this goofy shit. Even though we showed that as I was speaking on the show, you were smiling and skinning and grinning. You understood exactly what I was talking about. I didn't disrespect nobody or throw off the floor or anything. So no, I got all the energy. I'm calling your ass out. I'm calling you out. You're goofy to me. You prove that you goofy to me. And I'm gonna prove why I feel like that. Because I had 2 encounters with you specifically, and I feel like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you perform the conversation and you really don't know. You don't really have the decorum for these conversations. And you just go with whatever. And I'm standing on that. Illa, Eric Hutchins, you goofy as fuck.
Well, Illa, all I'm saying is, and you know, we spoke about this before, is that that just causes further division. Now, to your point, she is acting goofy as fuck. I can embrace that, but to call her goofy,
I'll give you that.
right,
You
to call her
goofy as fuck. I mean, because all I've been seeing is goofiness.
Right, so, but no. That's not true, Illa, and you got to give credit where credit.
Conversation going on the phone, y'all. This how it goes.
But right, but that's not true though, Illa. But it's not true. She didn't only display; she actually displayed some intelligence and some very good points prior to when Pearl was up here. She displayed some very critical points that were favorable. So now,
goofy, Sean. This is why I say goofy, because how can you make those points and then act like that? That means
that's easy. I can answer that. I can answer that easily because you get triggered and you're not emotionally balanced. Very easy. Once you get triggered and now you're no longer reacting. You're no longer reacting on the facts. Now you haven't been emotionally driven to a point of where you're irrational. And that happens to a lot of us.
Facts, or is this something that you're just regurgitating because the moment called for it? That's my issue.
Well, let me answer that.
Understand what you're talking about.
Let me answer that. Let me answer that. That goes both ways. Anything that you are speaking, you're regurgitating because you got it from somewhere. So whether you're regurgitating it with genuine intentions or whether it's disingenuous, we can argue. But in this point, it's not, I don't believe that she's being disingenuous. She's just triggered and bothered by what happened, and she's reacting to it very immaturely.
I gotta push back. It's a difference. It's levels, because if I read a book about how to fix a car and you read a book about how to fix a car, we both regurgitated, but one of us have to know how to act on what we learned. So regurgitation doesn't mean you have internalized the information. So it's not just, when I'm speaking, I'm not just regurgitating because I'm going to act on what I have said to you. My behavior is going to follow up with what I just interpreted. So if you're sitting in a panel with pearly things, talking about you guys are this and you guys are that, and this is the thing. She said, think about it. She said she's never, and I don't even believe this shit. She said, I've never met an aggressive black person in my life. I've never seen a violent black man in my life. But on the same show, you seen a black man that disrespects women all the time, but you never seen nobody that hit one. Like, this person is just saying shit, and I don't think she's saying
I can't dispute it, but it lends to the point of what I just shared. She lied just now, which means that she's possibly can lie again. So when it's convenient, when a person uses lies, when it's convenient, often when they choose to lie. Well,
people like that goofy as fuck. I like to call people like that goofy as fuck. Go ahead, bro. You about to say something? You ain't had your hand up? Oh, okay.
She was just trying to maintain the balance. She was like,
listen,
right. When she was saying, listen to both of us at certain times. She was telling me, wait, let him finish, and she was telling you, wait.
Good job, Sean.
The funny thing is, it's ironic because what we're speaking about is really a display of just acknowledging people's body language, which is what what's his name, Marquette. He was doing with Aisha at the time. He was just recognizing, and we can do it as well. We're sitting here looking at her body language. Her body language shifted when you spoke about women in other countries. And then she stood there in that same position, regardless, and she was stuck there. She's basically, I'm going to call it pouting. As
but Sean, you keep saying I spoke about women. I said black people in other countries.
You're being specific. You're being specific. No. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You being specific about a certain portion of it. You did mention women, and that did trigger her. And then Marquette kind of elaborated on it a little bit, and it triggered her even further.
He brought up women having children with other races of women, and I mentioned the word women, but my point wasn't about women. I said, since you brought up having interracial relationships with other women, what about working with black people abroad? But go ahead, Pearl.
So Aisha is a known FBA enthusiast. So for her, it might have been a little bit about other women of other races, but the totality of her triggering is from just the conversation about us linking with people abroad. And she's going to say that as well. Like, I don't care nothing about what's going on in Africa and none of those other places. Y'all don't know me. I just care about us here on U.S. soil. So even if Ella never mentioned other women, just a conversation abroad about us as Black people connecting with other people, she's against that.
All right, let's go. Let's finish here.
I don't know you, so I don't have anything to compare it to. This could be your physical representation of happiness. But I ask in as much as we got all Black folks here, we're discussing the issues of our community, and it almost seems like maybe you're a bit drained. And I don't know you, that's why I ask you.
I don't know why you're concerned with me being drained or not, but I'm definitely not drained, and I'm definitely listening and have been.
This is what I can't stand about a lot of women today. You don't even you can't even recognize concern. You don't even know what it looks like, feels like. You think everybody who's speaking to you directly is sarcasm. Intellectual, direct conversation is. She took that shit and she took everything he said as sarcasm. Hold on, Sean. I want to keep going. We're gonna wrap. Let me just get through this.
Well, Ella, man, you keep on interrupting her. Could I? Go ahead. I'm just joking.
All right, man. I was about to get you.
Part of the conversation the entire night. I just think that you guys are having your own dialect, and I probably.
We were having our own dialect when we gave the panel an opportunity to speak, and no one said something. So, for the sake of having a fucking show, we had to fill the vacuum with some fucking conversation. This is a 2-degree person.
Zoned out a couple of times because you're long-winded. And I feel like
now she's insulting him. She's saying he's long-winded. We're talking about Black issues after we just so-called was attacked by the European. Now she's dismissing and diminishing the intellectual dialogue of a solution to Black men.
Already knew the point of what was going to be said, but no, I'm doing just fine.
I yield the floor.
And this is the disingenuous.
That was kind of strange. But hold on, don't go yet. Let's go. Let's let it cook.
No, I mean they laying down pillars. I think that there's a consensus thought the fact that we do need structure.
So when the next man spoke, he said they're laying down pillars. So that means what she said didn't resonate with anybody with a brain. But as you can see, the top corners, they seem to be offended. Look at Sweeney's face. He looks offended. Why are you mad?
Ideology. I don't know if we need to tie a tag to it.
I want y'all to watch him too.
I think that's where things get a little bit muddy. And I think because we do that now, we're very trying to figure out what maybe be a superior approach. I think that we need to figure out what is most conducive to progress. And it could be as simple as patriarchal structure. It could be as simple as men are leading the charge. It could be as simple as having conversations. What I believe occurs more often than not is the men are not the ones who are so much divided. I think when we start having conversations, we're still battling the women that want to have a different.
He picked up on the spirit. True slick with it. I like how he did that. He calling her. I don't even know what he's doing. He's showing you that. Once again, when we start trying to get to some type of ground, and it's funny that the woman with the so-called natural hair. That's why y'all gotta realize this for the fellas out there. Don't be falling for that bohemian shit. That don't always mean that they saying something that they deep or they woke or they got some spiritual understanding. Thanks for pulling up, Tommy. It doesn't always mean that. Sometimes that's a farce. Like Andre 3000 said a long time ago. He said, "Every man with golds for the fall." He said, "Every man with dreads for the cause is everyone with golds for the falls." No, so don't get caught up in appearance. It's outcast and criminal, not the Black experience. You know what I'm saying? Google that. So. Notice she has the afro, she has the natural look, but no doubt. Shout out to Tom. He said, "Nice meeting y'all, Miss Pearl and Sean. Dope show. Thank you. Headed to bed. I know that's right. I definitely got to show him love." Shout out to Tommy B with the pull up. But yeah, man. It's just you would think because of the aesthetic that means that they're earthly or they're bound with the people. That shit is all fake. You know what I'm saying? That shit is all fake. Go ahead.
The reason why I say that is that's really stereotyping, and it gets us into that division. Yes, she might be all of those things, but she is triggered right now. We can't sit there and dismiss that. She is sitting here reacting to how she feels. Go ahead, Pearl.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that, but this is not but you're making accusations like Bo did a couple weeks ago. They're making accusations on what they felt was said, and it never was said. So for you to make a conclusion on someone's actions based on something they never said is borderline crazy. But let's get back to what she's saying.
Approach to what progress looks like. And when we say, well, this is what we need to do, we'll be told we're not leading correctly. But then when you ask them, why are we not leading correctly? What are you comparing it to? Are you comparing to the fact that you have a job? Are you comparing it to the fact that you have a great FICO score? And then that's where it gets really, really muddy. So I think the conversation needs to happen amongst the families of each other, from an individual level, from the women of the community, to figure out what it is that they want out the deal. Because from an ideological perspective, we need to know where we're headed. Like, having a strategy is great. Conversations are great. Where are we headed? What is the point of gearing up? What is the point of formulating strategies? What is the point of any of it? Where are we headed? And I don't know if we can answer that tonight, or maybe
True. I can agree to that. It's funny here because we're on this panel. All of us are Black, and I don't think women should lead at all. Just the simple fact that Marquette asked, I believe her name is Aisha, a question, and she said it was long-winded. I zoned out. This would tell you something about the woman's nature, right? You don't lean on the woman. Like, they're actually supposed to be a good listener, but they tend to not really do that job good. You know what I mean? So we don't lean on the woman or have to ask women for direction and things like that. No, men need to take charge, and we need to lead our women. She's a prime example, right? Prime example. And nothing on you, Aisha. I'm just saying, she didn't. Marquette was speaking very intellectual. He was speaking concise and clear. And for you to tune out and not listen,
I was absolutely still bored, and it has nothing to do with my intellectual ability.
Absolutely still bored. Like, oh my God, this is not a talk.
I'm 2 degrees in. They were going back and forth.
I'm 2 degrees in. What the fuck does that have to do with what we're talking about? How does your 2 degrees justify that? What you just did, you goofy woman, is basically lowered the value of degrees, because this is what degree people get.
Yeah,
we don't need them shits.
This is what I was talking about when we spoke. This is what I was talking about when I said Kevin Samuels coined it when he said sign language. Shame, insult, guilt need to be right. She displayed each one of those characteristics. Now she's going into the need to be right.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, I know.
But I clipped up, though. I got some full.
It's about the same, very redundant. I think the conversation took
very redundant. That means we repeated That means we repeated ourselves over and over. We didn't do that at all. This person's crazy.
Need to be right. The original topic. So when those 2 gentlemen started conversing amongst each other, in my opinion, it had nothing to do with what we were all speaking on the panel.
How the fuck did what we was talking about had nothing to do with what we speaking on? That's what I'm saying, Sean. I gotta call this.
No, need to be right. I agree with you. This right now is her need to be right. She ain't making no sense. She just needs to be right. She's dead wrong.
My focus just.
I'm gonna be honest.
To be fair, and even you, Illa, y'all talked about the same thing for about a good 10 minutes.
What?
So it wasn't that in my opinion. I'm really not trying to be rude and disrespectful, but I feel like
intelligence really rubs you the wrong way.
Red pill, blue pill thing, and I just don't.
Red pill, blue pill thing. What the fucking fuckity fuck is she talking about, bruh? Like, I'm sorry, like certain people on these panels, yo, they need to just go home, yo. Just because it seems easy, because all you need is a camera or YouTube connection, and it seems so easy to do. But these people don't be knowing what the fuck they talking about. They're not listening. They're just here to perform the conversation, to go. To be the contrarian just for the sake of being a contrarian. or to seem like the conversation is going one way. So I'm gonna agree with them. So when Pearl was there, it was time to be pro-black. Pearl is gone. Now it's time to get back on the men, which means you have no stance. But I'm not done. Let's keep walking. Let's keep
I feel
watching
like
this.
entertaining it because it's just not where I'm at right now. I think the conversation was about black fatigue, and then we went on to talk about Pearl and all of these things. I think I said this earlier.
We went this. I hate when people summarize what just happened. It's like if I'm talking to you, right, Sean, and you like, Illa, I need you to start posting more. I need you to start doing this. I need you to start blah blah. And I was like, and I call you the next day and be like, yeah, man, I remember that bull. You were talking about some shit, whatever. But whatever that shit was, I hate when people do that shit. No, what the fuck did I say? No one was talking about that. You said we went from black to fatigue to talking about Pearl and some stuff. That's not what happened. It went from talking about Pearl to talking about solutions that go against the narrative of the Pearls of the world. That's what the fuck happened. So I'm gonna rewind this slightly just so y'all can hear that again for the second time.
Then why are we not leading correctly? What are you?
You were speaking concise and clear, and for you to tune out and not.
I'm not trying to be rude and disrespectful, but I feel like the brothers are trying to start this red pill, blue pill thing, and I just don't even feel like entertaining it because it's just not where I'm at right now. I think the conversation was about black fatigue, and then we went on to talk about Pearl and all of these things. I think I said this earlier.
And all of these things.
Yeah.
What
the reason why? Remember earlier I said she was triggered about the women.
We know that.
Maybe that's why I was saying it, because I remember this part. She's not speaking about FDA. She's speaking about now the red pill. She was triggered when you said. But what I'm saying is when it started talking about white women and when other women other than her, she got triggered, and
Texas,
she's showing it.
She's from Texas, though, Donovan. She's definitely from Texas. I think she's from Fort Worth. So that's on you. I told you the other day. You know, remember we talked about the other day. You a Southern player, but go ahead, Sean.
No, what I was saying is she's now, with her even bringing a comment of red, blue pill, that shows you that something in her head heard something that triggered her about men versus women. And to the other point, she's now standing on this feminine, and now she's going in the direction of feminism, which wasn't even spoken about.
Which is a product of the person that was just on the show. Go figure. These motherfuckers dumb as hell. Let's keep going.
Things exist, right? We don't have to sit on platforms all day, every day, and discuss those. And to True's defense, like he said, it's time to start talking about solutions and pointing the finger.
We just did. That's what we've been talking about for the last 2 minutes. Was possible solutions. You can do it abroad. No, maybe local. Maybe this way. Maybe that's literally what we discussed. Literally, you cannot make this shit up. Let's keep going.
Oh well, that's a perfect example. She didn't listen. I didn't listen because I was bored. It had nothing to do with my intellectual ability or my ability.
Everything to do with your intellectual ability. What the fuck are you talking about?
To listen. So I just don't think that was true. I seen a couple of people. I think Sweeney dozed off. Like let's be for real.
Who gives a fuck if he dozed off or not?
I'm pretty sure he didn't hear everything the conversation.
He's one person. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 people on this fucking panel. Why does if Sweeney dozed off and not give any credence or take away any credence of what we said? Just stupid, goofy shit.
Conversation was about, but he wanted to take his time to point out me, which I think is very lovely.
And I love the by asking how are you doing.
Genuine concern.
2025.
But I'm just clearly bored because y'all went back and forth for 10 minutes, and I'm not in the business of.
I'm gonna slide after this.
Going back and forth, so I just let y'all speak because I'm not gonna be disrespectful.
Hey, look.
Can I just say, I'm about to leave, and I'm out of here. That's unfortunate that you said that because Marquette was actually breaking down solutions of how we can do that. He gave what he's doing. He gave stats about moving forward. That conversation wasn't even about me.
No, what he went into.
Let me finish my point. We heard you, Lady of Rage. You didn't make no fucking sense. We're going to keep cooking your ass, though.
Strategy
I let you talk.
And as y'all know, I don't care nothing about what's going on.
We know you don't care.
Jamaica.
Hold on. I'll let you talk.
We never even mentioned the word Jamaica. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll let you talk.
In the Black American community. So
I'll let you talk. I'm about to leave.
I'm letting you know, like, okay. why I.
It ain't even about you. I'm talking to the panel. Shut your goofy ass up.
We heard you. We got it.
He started talking about solutions here, and then he went across the pond.
No, I went across the pond. He just said he got business overseas because he's getting money. And y'all claim black men don't got nothing else. So you mad that this brother has businesses in America and abroad? Are you fucking goofy? Visa's overseas. McDonald's is overseas. All these conglomerates have multiple chains of their companies all over the world. That's how you grow your business. You want a global presence. What the fuck was you talking about? 2 degrees?
No. I'm gonna go after this.
First.
He literally said that we gotta fix home first. You goofy woman.
Okay, but that's what he was talking about. He was actually talking about going home. I was talking about going abroad. So he was keeping it home. I was just expanding the conversation, but that's what it is. But the fact that you said, hold on, the fact that you said what you said after all of that proves that we have a long way to go. Because you just did, and I noticed you did this on the last panel. Because we were on the panel last time with Pretty Intellectual. You was bringing up how white men are like us, and then when she left the panel, you had a whole different take. So what I learned about from that back to tonight is, hold on.
She says she doesn't know what we're talking about. So it's that time of the show where we're gonna play Remember This. So let's get to this clip, right, y'all? Now, mind you, on tonight's show, on that particular show, she said, I just let y'all see. I ain't gonna talk.
I want those women, but
no, they don't.
Because you know who want those women? White men.
See, exactly. I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
Hey, how are they flawed?
Because statistically.
You're muted.
Before I play the clip again, in that particular conversation, we were talking about how bossy, single, 2-degreed up women are not what men particularly want. As a man, Sean, is that what you want? Is that the main? Is the independent, bossy, home earner? Is that on the top of the list of what men are looking for, in your opinion?
Not at all.
Not at all. He didn't say no. He said not at all. So what she said in reply to that was, well, white men like us. So listen to the clip and listen to the contradiction. Because I told her that she doesn't have a stand, that she's all over the place. So just watch the clip.
I want those women, but
no, they don't.
Because you know who want those women? White men.
See, exactly. I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
Hey, how are they flawed?
Because statistically, black men are not more violent than white men. It's just not a stated fact.
They're 20.
No. That's just not a stated fact.
Where are your facts?
They literally colonized an entire civilization. White men are inherently violent, right? That's why we have all of this school stuff going on. We're not doing that.
Do you feel safer in a white neighborhood or a black neighborhood?
I feel more safer in a black neighborhood.
Well,
that's why I live on property.
God help you.
Yeah, I do. I don't feel safe around white people. Like, I'm scared of you right now. I'm afraid.
So this week you're afraid of white people, but last week that same white person is the one that chooses black women. And also in that same statement, you said black men are not violent. So I'm confused. So if we're not violent, which advocates that we're good people, what the fuck is the independent black woman only compatible with the white man that you're also scared of? What the fuck is she talking about, Sean?
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. I was distracted. I was looking for my fork because you just stuck it in her and she's done. But
done.
I can't even say nothing behind that. You know, all that defense that I was trying earlier, trying to defend.
That's why I told you to hold your horses. I told you to hold your. We're gonna play it one more time, y'all. Because on one hand,
you're muted.
No, the independent black woman, somebody wants her, the white man, but she's scared of him at the same time. This is coming from the same mouth 2 degree, I got a house, whatever the fuck. Listen to this nigga.
I want those women, but I
they don't.
because you know who want those women? White men. Those
See, exactly. I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
Hey, how are they flawed?
Because statistically, black men are not more violent than white men.
They're
It's
20.
just not. That's just not a stated fact.
They're 20.
No. That's just not a stated fact.
Where are your
They
facts?
literally colonized an entire civilization. White men are inherently violent, right? That's why we have all of this school stuff going on. We're not doing that.
Do you feel safer in a white neighborhood or a black neighborhood?
I feel more safer in a black neighborhood.
Well,
that's why I live on property in North.
God help you.
Yeah, I do. I don't feel safe around white people. Like I'm scared of you right now. I'm afraid.
So according to her logic, the only man that's compatible with the single, independent, successful woman is the most violent man in the world. That's what she said. So I want all you goofies who out there reviewing this and try to paint Illa, make sure you got that on documented, because I got all the receipts. She makes absolutely no sense. There's no way to defend that. She's performing the conversation like I said, because we could just pack her the fuck up. She's performing the conversation like I said. I stand on that. She made absolutely no sense. And she gives an intelligent woman who has degrees a horrible name. Because on one hand, no, you're basically telling us that the only person compatible with the single, independent, I got my shit together woman is the most violent man on the planet. Go fucking figure. I didn't say that. This is what she said, ladies and gentlemen. This is her logic. The floor is yours, y'all. Y'all got it.
Well, with that being said, I'm gonna go get my fork because, like I said,
I guess he wants us to do the dishes because he didn't already cook up.
Yeah, this food for thought. You do the dishes. We about to put these shits in the dishwasher. We about to get up on out of here, man.
Man.
We'll do the part later this week, man.
I mean, and you made a very valid point.
You better come correct.
But the funny thing is, Cooley, pretty much when he said that women shouldn't be in a position of power, she was a reflection of the women he was talking about. And it's not all women, but she is a direct reason of why that statement stands true. For all of the reasons that she displayed. I didn't pay attention. It was boredom. So if you're literally supposed to lead, you got to pay attention. You can't be bored in these moments if you want this position and responsibility, authority of leadership. And so therefore, to his point, you're making it. This is why he's saying women should not be in those positions, because you self-proclaimed said, I got bored and didn't even want to listen no more, which is what kind of leader does that? You have to listen to be able to apply whatever your strategy is going to be that's going to cause a resolution or an effective manner of something that you're having issues with. And that's what is concerning for a man like Cooley. And then to continue on and have the contradictions that Illa just pointed out doesn't help your case. So, Miss Aisha, although I was defending you at points in this evening, and there was times where I was sharing what I observed about you in this evening, I cannot argue. And if I was the judge, which is something a lot of people say, you can't judge nobody. I'm going to get scripture to where it says you can. But beyond that, literally, this is why we judge. It's to bring balance so that we don't follow somebody who says, I'm ready, and I'm going to take you someplace that's going to lead us into a disastrous pitfall.
So in the words of Martin Payne,
sit your dumb ass down.
Sit your dumb ass down. This ain't what you want. All them degrees ain't enough to fuck with the kid. You gonna have to have more than some degrees to fuck with the kid, man. And to all those weird ass people that love to talk about Illa, I will never react to you. I will never call your name. I will never, ever, ever, ever put myself on the screen with you. The only way you could do this review to me, because I will never review you. You post every day and no one gives a fuck. I've been up here for a month and I'm everywhere. Not because I'm the shit, because what I say resonates. It's not about saying something. It's about being felt. So y'all want to be heard. Illa is felt. So for all of you niggas,
Yes! Fuck you too!
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Illasophical Radio. My illustrious guest, the lovely Miss Pearl. My man, East Coast Brooklyn's finest, Sean B. You know what I'm saying? From Beantown. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. I'm about to get my little closing statements and I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate y'all, man. We will do this again. I'm gonna be doing part 2 soon, and I would love for y'all to join if you have the time.
Absolutely. I thank you for having us, Pearl. Good seeing you and meeting you, because I saw you on a show that I watched with y'all all on it. Good meeting you as well. And Illa, as always, I told this to Illa offline, and I'm gonna say it online, is that Illa has a way of being an influencer. And that's what's most important. It's not about how many streams or how much bravado you got, how much money you got. It's about how much influence you have. And his presence causes people, it influences people. So continue doing what you're doing, continue letting your presence be felt, and continuing building your influential power. And there will be no stopping where you can go.
I appreciate that. I really do. I don't take that lightly. I'm humbled by the compliment. And especially somebody that's been around such great talents and great contributors to our art. For you to say that to me, I don't take that lightly. And, I love you, Sean. You always give me good information. So I appreciate you, man. You're one of the great people I met through this space. And I'll consider you a friend regardless of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I really respect you and I really appreciate you, man. Yes. Any last state? Oh, they don't close me again. Hold it down for me, y'all, so I can refresh. Don't sign off yet. I'm gonna refresh. Yeah, they be trying to play, but I'm not gonna go anywhere. You're gonna have to get me. You're gonna fight me this time. We gonna thug it out. But yeah, any last words, Ms. Pearl?
I had a great time tonight. This was a fantastic show. Great panelists, great conversation. It was different from the LaPeep show. I'll say that. It's great to take a break from relationships and subjectivity all the time. Like you be running in circles. So this was awesome.
This is the ill experience, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different over here. Regardless of all the bullshit these people like to say about me, it's peace and love. When you come over here, you're gonna get respected. You're gonna be heard. I'm not gonna allow anybody to disrespect anybody. I don't play those games. As you can see, if you got to see me check those people, it's because they're disrespected. Because no one argued over here. Nobody was talked over. Everybody got a chance to speak. The super chat from the vibe was good. And I had a lot of technical difficulties, and we still did that. So it ain't on me. It's in me. You feel me? So yeah, I'm gonna drop y'all now and say goodbye to my people. Love y'all. See y'all soon. Peace, 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 peace. So, ladies and gentlemen, your boy is back. Thank everybody for pulling up. Shout out to Tommy. Shout out to World Class. Shout out to Reaper Rail. Shout out to Miss Mac, Lauren, both Macs, Pearl Mac and Lauren Mac. Shout out to Ilkan Ali for pulling up the super chat. Reaper Rail, Skinny, Skunk, Remy, Mr. Smell of Roses, Tommy B, True Bleed, Beans, everybody that pulled up. Peace and love. We will be back soon. We definitely back outside, y'all. We definitely back cooking. It's time to talk that talk that leads to walking that walk. So with that being said, peace and love, y'all. We out of here.
Them niggas shrink around you, man. They just in the space probably before you was a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But them niggas shrink when you come around. That's why them niggas don't want you around.
Situation with the genders and all of that shit that we've been hearing about. And there's nobody better than the gore. Illasophical to come set that bitch off.
Yo, you know